Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money every spring. But I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way that music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of new. Oh, na 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 na. I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money and whatever else you bring.
Hey, the gang's all here.
All here. The boys and the girls are back in town. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Happy Friday to everybody.
Friday.
Hey.
The weekend has finally made it. We survived another week. So,
Oh, don't say that because I have to work tomorrow.
I do too. I hear you. I got a phone call today from Camera Concepts saying, Dan, I got this guy here that you were working with the C11, and you put the feather touch focuser on and everything. Yeah, so turns out his 2-year-old kid locked down all the mirror locks and wrenched the focuser.
Oh God!
So it's now back in the store, and he's like, I don't know, I can't see anything now. I was like, uh-oh. So
that kid would be going into foster care.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, listen, buddy, I know you for a while. You're a good customer. I said I don't normally work Saturdays, but tomorrow I'll come in and take a look at it because that sounds like it could be serious.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that it's just user error. I'm hoping that it's just user error, that it wasn't like, it's not anything. Well, we'll just have to see.
Yep.
But it's pretty. When he said it to me, it sent chills up my spine. I was like, oh no. So why you guys don't put your 2-year-old next to a $5,000 piece of equipment?
I didn't know the kid had that much strength.
I hope he's not listening, but I mean, I think I don't know how much a 2-year-old can do to it, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll take a look at it tomorrow.
Those lockdown knobs are big, man.
Yeah,
a
they're
2-year-old could definitely get his hand around that sucker.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I don't know exactly what is done or what damage, if any, or maybe he just had the lens cap on. I don't know, but he's a newbie. He's like imagine the rig that Scott has almost, but not with Scott's brain, because Scott has an idea about astrophotography. This guy has completely no idea about astro. I mean, this is literally his first scope with no background in photography at all.
So he just
jumped into the deep end.
Oh yeah, he went on the 30-foot diving board for his first dive. I mean, that's what he did. And
the water's filled with sharks and alligators.
Yeah. Or
2-year-old babies.
Mm-hmm. And
I hope that's very grim. 2-year-old babies in a 20-foot swimming pool. I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what? It just sometimes Dan, you and Pete, you guys work at for telescope resellers and companies and stuff like that. It just amazes me. We talk about this all the time. About people, they do have, there's some people who are very well off and very fortunate and can afford to spend a certain amount of money, and they don't. And to your point, Dan, they have no idea what they're really getting into. Nope. They're jumping into the deep end, and they don't. And honestly, sometimes they don't realize they really don't want to crawl before they run or walk. And it's like, guys, you can honestly get a small refractor or something like that, and you can sell it. Once you get comfortable with it, you can keep it, or you can keep it as a travel scope if you want to go to a dark sky site. Those small refractors are great if you want to keep it and you have a travel mount and you want to take it to a dark sky site or something like that.
Exactly.
But how many of these folks just get frustrated, when they just jump in that deep end and get frustrated?
Exactly.
And just throwing their hands up in the air. It's, and just, like, I've had enough. This is not the easiest, to learn some of the intricacies of this. And I'm telling you, 3 days ago, I was ready to yeet my stuff across the yard.
Yeah. And Jesse, that's what I'm saying. So, and Jesse, and I hear you, because to what Dan's customers, he's got an Edge 11, right? An Edge 11, you have, he's got a moonlight focuser. You've also got those mirror locks. You've got other components. You got to learn how to collimate these things. There's so many different things you have to deal with. When it comes and Schmitz, as far as I'm concerned, Schmitz are the easier of the refractors, but especially when it comes of not the refractor, but the reflectors, when it comes to collimation, because you only have to deal with the secondary, right? So it's just, but you just jump off the deep end, and you're really, it just kills me, because as I say, sometimes you can read Cloudy Nights, AstroMark, once you're proficient at that, refractor. If you want to sell it, you can sell it, and trust me, you're gonna get some money for it.
No, we just lost Scott.
We just lose Scott.
Yeah, his son's probably streaming again.
Yeah,
but we talk about it all the time. I know that Pete's got it on his tagline on his email: "Buy once, cry once." And I was using it before I kind of met Pete, but Pete's been using it probably 20 years before that. But I'm all for that and everything, but you gotta have the wherewithal to know your knowledge limitations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta be really honest with yourself and say, hey, listen, I may be getting in a little bit over my head here because I know completely nobody that has a telescope around me. I'm not in an astronomy club. I'm not in anything. I just want it because it's big and I see the pictures in the textbook. And
Yes.
that's, you know, they see shows like us with like the pictures Pete has behind him, you have behind yours, you have behind yours. You know, I don't know what picture you have behind you, Jesse. I don't know what that is.
I don't have my scopes behind me. I've got just stuff.
I didn't know if that was an astronomy picture behind you on the wall, but
no,
you know,
it's actually I got it from my husband. Okay, it's from the Lord of the Maps. It's a Delaware drawn in Lord of the Rings style. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm one of those. Yeah, so no, I don't. But looks like possibly. I mean, as disappointed as I was to see that, looks like Neath is canceled.
Yep.
My eldest, I think I'm about ready to be an empty nester here in about 5 weeks, and I'm gonna have, which is sad, but I'm gonna have a room all to myself. So I'll be able to, like bring some of my stuff in and actually have my stuff in. So I'm super excited about that.
Right
like right now I'm relegated to oh my God, my husband built a little shed for me outside so I can keep all my stuff in because it was all actually back here. And he's like, really? Like,
so you have an actual she shed.
it's a little tiny she shed. It's my neighbor's like, are you building an outhouse out there? My husband's like, yep. I joked I wanted to paint it blue and like call it my little TARDIS.
Nice.
But it's all the way out there, and the times I want to play with my stuff, it's raining and nasty, and I don't want to haul it in. So I'm super excited to be able to have my stuff inside.
Yep.
Nice.
So my little bit of consolation for the eldest moving out. My youngest moved out in July and left one room. So like just as we get that one cleaned out, I'm like, okay. And then Riley and Kit, my oldest boyfriend, they ended up taking up that space, and now they got both of them. So actually, I'm going to get two.
Nice. You get two of them. You get
Yes, I am. Yes, I
am. No, you're not. God damn it! No, I said no.
We gotta share one for each of us.
Yeah, I had an opportunity at 5:00 this evening to be on the Explore Scientific YouTube channel today with Tyler and Scott Roberts. And it was fun. We had a good time. As a matter of fact, Scott verified that the date that he's going to be on the 25th has been verified, and he's going to be on that day. So that's going to be very, very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that'll be good to have because we haven't had Scott on for about a year.
Yeah, about a year. It's been about a year. Cool. Yeah, I told him he's got to come with some good stories again. So
yeah,
he's got great stories. So we were bringing out. I was bringing up stuff from my closet of death, and he's bringing out stuff. We're trying to find out how old we could go back to what we have in our closets. and I think he beat me. He had a manual reticle guiding eyepiece that he had sitting around. That it's sitting back there. He beat me. He beat my SAC 7. It was this thing was like from the 80s that he had it all set up.
Wow.
But
a few books where Pluto's a planet. So
I actually wrote one of my papers on is Pluto a planet, and I think I still have it somewhere, but
Team Pluto.
But no, definitely not. Definitely not. The science does not equate with that.
It doesn't. There's just
Pluto's a dog.
Pluto's a dog.
Pluto's
I don't care what anybody says. I grew up with Pluto as a planet. As I have 9 planets in my solar system. Pluto's
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. I'm with you on that one.
I don't know. I grew up and Pluto was a dog. So that's what I got.
Pluto can be both.
You can be both, absolutely.
Pluto's awesome enough to be a dog and a planet.
Oh my. Okay. So I'd be remiss.
We're going off the rails early tonight.
Yeah.
Tyson, curse you!
I'm gonna put us back on the rails because we have to say thank you to our sponsors. Let's see. I'll share my screen again, and we'll say thank you first of all to our main sequence sponsor. And if it comes up, there we go. Thank you to Woodland Hills Camera and Telescopes at our main sequence level, and followed by our Red Giant sponsors, Prima Luce Lab and Camera Concepts at the Red Giant level. And at the Super Giant level, thank you to Masters of Pix Insight as well. Thank you to all of our sponsors making this entire venture possible. And it looks like that we're going to be starting giving away products starting, what was the date that I said? We're going to start giving away our giveaways starting on the 16th of March. That's a week from Wednesday.
Okay.
So that's when we're going to start giving away all the plethora of stuff that I've been talking about, including accessories, books, and filters from Woodland Hills, something from Prima Luce, some gift certificates from Camera Concepts, and a whole bunch of IP for AP yearly memberships and classes over at Masters of Pix Insight. So all that kind of stuff is coming down the pike starting on the 16th. So we're going to be giving away something every show. So
Right.
don't forget to go into, and I'll show, actually, let me finish this first. I'll show you how to sign up for the giveaways. So upcoming guests on, I believe it's Wednesday, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday, March 9th. Roland Archer, who's going to give us a rundown of the Voyager acquisition software. Then March 18th, we'll have Hendrik from the Star Aid. And the March 25th show is no longer tentative. It is confirmed. Scott Roberts will be on from Explore Scientific, followed by Bob Denny, who's going to give us a rundown of Alpaca, probably a little bit more of a technical show than normal, but it's going to be interesting to get an outlook on Alpaca because I honestly don't know a lot about it. I know what it does, but that's about it. And then April 13th, we'll have Charles Bracken, who's author of the Deep Sky Imaging Primer, plus a number of other books. And Scott came back. And hi, Scott. Welcome back. There you go. Tell your son to stop playing video games and we'll be okay. And then finally, if you don't like YouTube, come see us on all the other social media platforms such as Discord. You know, our Discord thing is blowing up. We have almost 50 people on there now. Twitch, we have now 3 whopping followers on Twitch. So that's nice. Facebook, we have over 1,100. Twitter, we have 1,000. And Instagram's still growing. So thank you, everybody, to all the watchers and helpers and supporters of AstroWorld. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And that is that. But let me show you real quick how to get into the go to the website and sign up for the giveaways. So when you go into the website, and you can actually go to the website and get the next program up here, and you can go into there and then actually go right into the event now. You don't even have to go to YouTube. This will point you to the YouTube page if you want to. Or you could always just go to YouTube page and just go there. But to sign up for the giveaways, go into the Contact Us. And on the bottom, it'll say sign up for our newsletter. That's for everything. If you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get automatically put into all the giveaways. And the newsletter, again, on the 16th will be our first one. That will be gone out on the 16th. So that's going to be a lot of fun to do. So just put your first name, your last name. Maybe I'll send you a birthday present and your email address so we can put you on the wheel of names so you can be eligible for all these lovely free things that we're going to be giving away. Only last thing, for those of you that are YouTube subscribers, you may notice something on here, and there's a little join button if you wish to support us anyway, from anywhere from $2.99 a month to $9.99 a month. You get certain perks and shirts and hats and stuff like that for a monthly subscription if you want to join AstroWorld TV and give us some support. So that is it. That is all that. And we'll stop sharing and we'll get Scott disappeared again.
Really?
And Eric is frozen, or maybe he's
Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Hear you.
Yeah. My PC.
Speaking of PCs.
let me sign out and let me hop back in.
Okay.
So sorry about that, folks.
There you go. All right. So yeah, we got a lot of good, cool stuff going on. And I got a new toy.
What'd you get?
The little one.
That's
Got
a
the
black
red cat.
It's a black cat.
It's a red one. I didn't have a gray one or a space one. I mean, it's all the same, you know. So I got the little guy, the 51.
Nice.
You know, everyone has seen my work in progress, which is this Frankenstein over here. Everyone has seen this on the show. This disaster. Okay, so this is total Frankenstein. I got ZWO, Prima Luce, Camera Concepts, ADM, Deep Sky Dad, ZWO. I got a whole bunch of stuff, and I was using this for the 294 on my 200L lens. So that's what this whole thing was for. I got so tired of butchering this entire thing and trying to make it work. I said, you know what? I had all these parts here for the EAF is all the Deep Sky Dad stuff for the ZWO for the William Optics Red Cat. So I said, you know what? I gained 50 millimeters of focal length because the 200 to 250. But I'm gonna take this and put it in the closet of death and make it a space cat, a red cat kind of little mini rig with the ASI air and everything. So that's
A mini Franken cat.
yeah, exactly. Well, that whole thing is going to be gone, and Eric is back. That whole thing is going to be gone, and then you know, so this will be disassembled to.
Oh man, all that effort to put it together, and then now just to disassemble it. But that's what we do, don't we?
Disassemble and put it together with this.
Yes.
So that's what that's going to be. So that'll be my get up and go rig, the 250 Red Cat.
Hey Dan, isn't that the definition of insanity?
Yeah, doing things over and over again, expecting the same results, right? Yeah, so or different results. Sorry, but you know, it really is, and you know what? This is what we do. We lift things up and put them down.
Yes.
You know, so.
Well, I got my filter wrenches, so at least I can, you know, start getting those extenders off without having to butcher it. You all saw the picture of my my mess. It worked, I mean, mostly, but now I have something that's actually meant for it and not you
don't want to wrench it.
Yeah, no. I mean, it worked in a pinch, but now I actually have something. And darn it, just those filter wrenches got me clouds this week. That's not fair. So,
hey, I've had clouds almost for the past week, almost 2. It's been crazy.
With the exception of 5 days, I probably had clouds since November.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been bad.
Yeah,
it's been bad.
It's just been really rough.
Well, I didn't want to bring up the topic since it was Eric's idea and Eric was having some issues. So what about a computer, Eric?
Yeah. So, and even Tarek even mentioned this nice Astro gear, but issues with PC. You know, one of the things, and it's a great segue. And this is for new, you know, and I was talking about this in the green room because Fridays are usually for our new subscribers and new people who are new to astrophotography. And when you're usually getting started with astrophotography, you have the telescope, you may have a DSLR, you may have your mount, you know, a nice little mount or tracker or something like that. But you need to gather all that data. And how are you going to do that? Well, most of the time you're going to have a computer. Most of the time you're going to have a laptop sitting, you know, on a table or something, you know, outside beside you, and you're going to be acquiring all this data. At least that's how I was when I first got started. I had I had a Dell laptop, and I had my William Optics GT71, my little T3 Canon, everything hooked up, and I was using backyard EOS.
Yep.
And that's how I acquired, my data. So it's not uncommon. I mean, you even see at times you have still Trevor Jones using, on Astro Backyard using a laptop, to acquire his data. So, and not only is you use the laptop for acquisition, but in many cases you are also going to use that for your processing, for your post processing. So I thought about this, and sometimes people may ask the question or may be unsure about what type of computer or the specifications of a computer should you have or should you look into when you're getting into this hobby, because it's not just about getting the right telescope and the right mount and stuff like that. It's also, these other pieces. There's so many pieces and so many components that you have to take a look at and you have to think about, to acquire even a single image.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, I had a Dell computer. I don't even remember the specs. It probably had like 16 or maybe even 8 gig of RAM, right? And it had a small 128 gig SSD hard drive, and I was using that for backyard EOS and also for SharpCat. When I was doing planetary. When it comes to planetary, you're talking about taking high-res, high-speed video, and that video is going to take up a lot of storage. Depending on how many frames you're going to be collecting, you can end up filling up that storage space rather quickly. So right now I'm also in the process, because you've seen right now, of looking into getting a new computer.
Yeah.
But certain things that I would say you want to think about. One thing I would recommend you want to think about is a CPU. Is your processor. You want to have a good multi-core processor, and I would say something along the lines of starting out maybe at a minimum a quad core, but I would say an 8. I would say an 8, myself, but you could start out with a quad core.
Yeah, you can start with a quad, but I think you'll see a marked difference.
You see a huge difference if you just go ahead and get an 8, such as like an AMD Ryzen 7, 3800 or along that lines, or a i7 or an i5 or i7 Intel processor. When it comes to memory, because memory is what runs those programs for you, you're gonna want to have, I would say, no less than 32. I would ideally say 64. I would say if you could get 64, get 64 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah. I would say bare minimum. I mean, bare minimum is 32. I think
32.
That's you may even come up with some problems at 32.
You could.
Depending on what you run and depending on how much, and I'm sure you're going to get into this in a second, how much video RAM you have.
Yes.
That's going to play an integral part in how your rig performs.
Yes, because if you have a good graphics processor or graphics card, I would say at minimum 6 gig graphics processor.
If you can find one,
graphics processor at a minimum, because when you're running and you're doing when you're doing the post processing, I don't care if it's APP, Deep Sky Stacker, Photoshop, PixInsight, they are very heavily intense when it comes to memory. They're very memory intensive, as well as they're very CPU intensive. So you want to have a graphics card that has its own set of graphics memory, like minimum 6 gig, maybe 8, to help run and to compensate or supplement the other RAM or the memory that you have on your actual computer, so it can do all of the processing. So it can run the actual application and run the processing and work with your CPU to do all this crunching that you're going to have to do.
Yeah,
Um,
and Eric, I mean, I think we should really bring up that, you know, the graphics processor,
mhm.
the graphics cards have tripled, uh,
They have.
or more in price, for even your entry level video card. You really want to be careful because even your entry level video card is going to be $800 to $1,000. You know, whereas, you know, you could, this is kind of what, you know, just, I don't want to throw it off, but
Mhm.
this is kind of what I did. I bought an Alienware computer or a Dell or something like that, and the only thing that survived that Dell was that video card.
Right.
And then when I did a build just like Eric did, and I don't know if anyone else on the panel has built their own computer, but doing a custom build, maybe you could go to like Micro Center or somewhere and say, hey, listen, I want this video card, this memory, this motherboard, blah, 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 and they will build it for you if you
They'll
don't want
build
to
it.
build it yourself.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of that. If you want a custom computer,
Yeah.
you can have somebody do it for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd do it, but you know, I'd charge you probably more than they would. But
But another thing, so you have to take a look at that. And actually, some graphics cards have actually started coming down in price.
oh, okay.
So you can, but they're still up there. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not, you know, a decent graphics card, 8 GB graphics cards you can probably get right now for between like $650 to $700. So they've come down a little bit.
That's a lot. An
You
eight
know,
for
because
700.
they used to be up towards $1,000 and everything like that. So they have come down. Another thing you're going to want to think about is, especially when I mentioned, you know, doing video, high res video for planetary, and even during your acquisitions, storage. You know, you want to save your data, and I would say save all of your data, because you never know if you want to go back to it to process it all, to reprocess that as you're maybe during a cloudy day or cloudy night when you want to keep learning, you know, and getting better with, you know, the post processing software. So I would say for something like that, at least a terabyte, at least a terabyte to get started, and then start thinking about maybe as time goes on, keeping an eye on stuff, you know, adding on to that storage space, maybe getting, you know, an external USB drive or something like that, and and those things. So another thing you'd want to do is have a good monitor, and when you get that monitor, consider some sort of monitor calibration, okay, such as the spider, okay, because you want to calibrate your monitor, all right, in the colors that are rendering off of that monitor, so you can get so your image is as clean as possible and as sharp as possible, and it has the right colors that you're in, because when you share this out with others, you don't want it to necessarily, you're looking at it one way, and then you post it and it could be a little bit different than what it actually you was expecting.
Yeah,
What is
just
that? What,
go,
oh, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead,
Dan.
Jess. Go ahead, Jess.
What is that color? That's I know nothing about this. I mean, and that's
Mhm.
something I get a little crazy with my colors anyway, because you know I don't know, I got a thing for purple. You know, y'all
Mhm.
figure that out. but I swear, like everything I post, it, you know, I mean, of course we know social media just makes, you know, everything look terrible half the time anyway. But what is that calibration?
Yeah, it's called the Spider. It's
Spider.
called this. They have the Spider X or Spider 10.
This
It
is it.
is, and this is what it looks like. It's less than $200.
Okay.
And what it will do is you will put this on your monitor, and then it will also help you as far as your light, you know, because it'll take a look at, you know, the light in your area and let you know if the light around in the surrounding area is too bright, to help, you know, so you can maybe dim that light a little bit or get it to the right, get your brightness of your actual surroundings the way it should be, so the calibration can run and perform the way you expect it. Because say you're doing narrowband, Okay, you're doing narrowband imaging. You want to make sure your narrowband image, those colors of those colors, narrowband colors, are what really you want them to be. What you want, what you're expecting to see on that monitor. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is very important to look at that, and to consider that monitor as part of that system.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and also with the Spider, with something like this, it will ask you to recalibrate your monitor monthly.
Yes, it does. Mine does it for me too.
You know, and it's important to stay up with it because it's not always us that's getting older and our eyes are getting out of whack. Sometimes the liquid crystal doesn't work as well as it should be.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you do this once a month. And to that point, I know Eric was talking about posting online and printing. Look at your color profiles too, because your color profiles are huge.
Yes.
You're going to want to use ICC profile. If you're using PixInsight, there's something called ICC profiles.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, when you're all done, you're ready to post it, make sure you use the right ICC profile for whatever you're using it for. So let's say if you're just putting it on the web, you don't really, it's going to get squashed. So use your sRGB for the web. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then when you go on and you want to print it somewhere, you may want to call up the printer and see what color profile they use, or most of them, I believe, use the Adobe platform.
There's Adobe RGB, and then there's Adobe RGB. Then there's Pro Photo RGB, and it's just the wider gamut is what the Pro Photo brings to the table, but that's for printing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's only for printing. And and if you send like to Bay Photo, which is one of the people that a lot of people use on astrophotography, you call them up, they'll tell you which one to use and which one to send them.
Okay.
That's
good to know.
So if I can share my screen here real quick, for those who are thinking about if you want a computer built, or if you're a DIYer like myself and Dan, I want to share with you guys an idea of the type of PC that I'm looking at, because for me, I do a lot of, I'm doing post-processing, but I'm also doing a lot of video editing when I do my YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I need certain types of power. But I'll share, if I can share my screen here.
Yeah.
Let me know when it's ready.
And waiting for it.
Okay.
And there we go.
Okay. So this is what some people would consider like a gamer setup, but it's kind of very similar to what the type of specs you're looking for. So I'm going to skip the case, because the case, cooling is important, but that's not such a big deal in what I'm talking about. But you want to look at you want to have a good motherboard. Okay. And you have to decide on, what processor you're going to be using, because the processor you're using, you have to have a motherboard that's going to support that processor to match with that processor. Again, a good graphics card. Here's an 8 GB graphics card, and as you can see here, this has dropped quite a bit.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Which one is that? That's a
Sapphire Radeon. This is a 6600. This is one of the newer graphics.
Wow, time to upgrade the video card. Let's go.
Yeah. So, of course, then you're looking at a power supply, because you have to power everything. And those are reasonably priced. Those are usually between $50 to $100.
Yeah.
Here's the big one.
Huh.
The processor.
I want to see what you're going for. Ryzen 9.
A Ryzen 9 5900.
Ah, come on. Get the 16 core, man.
Yeah, right. Give me that money.
Yeah, I bought one. Sorry.
And this is a 12 core. Okay. Remember what I was talking about? Minimum you want to think about is maybe 6, or 8. I'm going a little bit up right now. I'll go with a 12. And this is not a bad price, in my opinion.
Let me just put this in perspective on the cores for you PixInsight users.
And APP users.
What's up?
And APP users.
Well, can you assign the cores on APP?
You can.
Oh, okay, so for APP as well. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. But for PixInsight and APP, what you could do is you could assign how many cores that you want the program to use when it's processing. Mm-hmm. At default, it's only set to 1 or 4, I think, depending on what it is. Depending on what your processor is, it doesn't go any higher than that. You have to assign the cores to them that you want to allow PixInsight to use. And once you do that, that speeds up your processing time exponentially.
Yes, it does.
I mean, it's
I know you can
ridiculous.
do that.
Yeah.
So it's default at 1.
Yeah, it's usually 1.
Usually
So-
1.
Yeah.
That's interesting because that would be nice to be able to do like a drizzle integration, not before bed, planning to wake up.
Exactly.
To have an image on my screen.
Yeah. So Eric, when you're done with that, I'll show people how to do this on PixInsight. And if you want to show them APP.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. So this is the processor. As I said, this is a good processor, 12 core, 3.7
awesome.
gigahertz. And this one, I'm a techie, like I said, I'm working IT. I'm gonna overclock it to about 4.3 gigahertz. But that's
16.
Yeah, no, right. You have a hard drive. This one's a small one because I have other hard drives I will use with it. So this is just going to run my operating system. 500 gig, but $60 for that hard drive just so you can get Windows started. Cooling
SSD drive, right?
Yes, this is an SSD drive. Yes, absolutely. You
That's
want
an
to
M2,
look for
right?
a solid state drive. Absolutely, Pete. You want to have I would highly recommend a solid state drive. Then, of course, cooling, and this is the next thing. This is probably just as much as the processor is the amount of memory.
Yep.
Because the memory is what runs your programs. Okay. So I was saying at minimum 32 if you're getting started. I'm a little bit more experienced and I know what I want. I'm going actually full bore and going 128.
Yeah, that's that again. If you have a motherboard that could do 128, do yourself a favor too. Buy yourself a motherboard. Think about RAM first before you just go in and buy it. Don't think of a number and what to get, because if you have a motherboard that's 128 gig compatible, that's your max, right?
Yes.
But if you sit there and say, well, you know what, I only want 32, so I'm going to get 4 8s.
Right.
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that
because you know what's going to happen is once you upgrade and it's too slow, I want to go 64 and I'm going to get 2 32s. Well, now I got to throw out 2 8s.
Yeah.
And it's just money thrown in the garbage.
Yep.
So what I would do, depending on your motherboard, most motherboards require pairs and RAM chips.
They do.
Most, so if you, depending on the motherboard, you do slot 1, 3, 2, 4. Some do 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. Read your motherboard guide to find out.
Read your menu. If you're going to do this DIY, when it comes to your memory and your motherboard, you want to make sure that motherboard, that the RAM you're thinking about purchasing, the motherboard can support that RAM and that RAM speed, because there is a speed of the memory, okay, that your motherboard may or may not be able to handle, okay? So you want to make sure that you're matching up. So you have to match up. You have to match up everything. You got to make sure, because the motherboard is the heart of everything. So you want to make sure that the motherboard you purchase, it can support the processor you want to get, as well as the memory you want to get. And in some cases, the video card. Sometimes those can be interchangeable. You can either go with NVIDIA or AMD, but you want that motherboard, as I said, it's the heart of everything, to be able to support what you want to do. Okay. So for something like this, and then so I was going down here. So 128 gigabytes of RAM, and this one is DDR 3200. So it'll give you certain specs here, like such as it's the type of RAM, which is like this case DDR4, and the speed, which is 3200. So you want to make sure that motherboard that you're purchasing can support that, as well as the processor you purchase or you want to get, such as this is a 5000 series. You want to make sure that this motherboard, in which this one can support the motherboard you're thinking of, can support it. And this is newegg.com, which is a very well-known website to purchase computer components if you're going to do DIY. But you can Dan's point earlier, you can also talk to companies, even Newegg here.
Yep. They'll build it for you.
They can build right here. They can build to order. They
Yep.
can build it for you. You can talk to them and ask and get, just like if you would call Woodland Hills, for advice on a telescope, you can contact Newegg or other manufacturers and talk to them and tell them what you're trying to do, and they will do their best to fit a computer and a system that fits for you and it's going to fit for your budget, because not everybody's budget is the same.
Yeah, there are a lot of other things also that you need to kind of think about when you're dealing with motherboards and RAM and voltage, speed, capacity, all these things. You really got to think of. Don't just go in and this is not something where you could impulse buy.
No,
you can't impulse buy. Do not impulse buy this stuff. You'll end up sending it to me so I can put it in the closet of death.
This is just like when you're buying that first telescope. Sometimes you don't want to just impulse buy it just to buy. You want to do some research.
Yeah,
do a little bit of research.
Yeah, find someone that knows more about it than you. And if you want, you could always email myself, Eric, or Pete, anybody to find out this information. Because don't spend. Right now, his card is up to almost $2,000, and don't spend $2,000 to have a $2,000 paperweight.
Exactly.
so
because this stuff, it's not necessarily cheap. And just to let you guys know, we were just talking about. I'm just going to click one here.
Well, we got a couple of questions here.
Oh yeah, let me stop. Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Astro Puppet Frank, and I love that motherboard, Frank. So I think I told you to buy it, but the Aorus Master motherboard is completely awesome. 128 gig of RAM, 3 onboard M2 drives on board. It's pretty crazy. But Tarek had a question regarding how long do you think the new build will last before you think about starting over again? For
me, I'll be honest with you. I usually can push mine for at least 3 years, maybe 4. Before I'm starting to think about a new system. And that's honestly usually the average. Of a computer's life is. At most, maybe I would say 4 years. You can push it to 5, but I would say at the most average, it's about 4.
Now the one you're just showing, that is going to be for processing.
Mm-hmm.
What if you were looking to if you were somebody that was new and you're just looking for a laptop that you could leave outside forever, because those imaging laptops spend more time outside sometimes than they do inside. If you were looking for just a laptop, and not wanting to spend a lot of money on it because it's going to be living outside, what would be the bare bones that you would look for?
The bare bones that I would look for one, the big thing for me would be storage space. Okay. That would be for me. That would be one of the bigger things because of all the acquisition data. Okay, and as I talked about, video, if you're doing planetary and these FITS files, things like that, that would be one big thing I'd have to consider. Another, you would want to consider memory, and I would say you could do 16, but I would say 32 gigabytes, but 16 would be fine because you're only talking about running a Sharp Cap or Backyard EOS or maybe SGP or something like that, and when you really start and when you really start going with the acquisition, things will start coming into a routine and slowing down, getting into more of a routine and slowing down a little bit. So you won't need, that power as much, to get started. Yeah. When you get started, it'll start doing its work and stuff like that. But when it starts to get into it, and when you're in a session and you've started your sequence, it's usually pretty steady. Okay. Because that's the only thing you're going to be really running along with what your mount is doing and your guiding. So that's why I was saying maybe about 32, because you got to think about PhD guiding. You got to think it's going to be connected to your mount and the ASCOM drivers and everything else that's maybe running on it and stuff like that when you're doing your acquisition. A processor, you could do a good size processor, maybe a 6 core, something like that, maybe like an i5, a low end i7, something like that. You could end up spending these. And like I said, with the storage is also kind of cool because you could purchase an external hard drive, like a USB 3 hard drive, to help expand that storage. So as long as you have that enough storage to handle all of that acquisition data, then thumbs up, because then you can bring that in and you can hook it up to your main computer and then download everything and then do your processing. But I would say if you're looking at a budget, you can probably get something decent, you could, honestly, I'm serious, under $1,000.
Yeah. And Dan, Eric, you brought up a good point about storage, because look at these cameras coming out now. Case in point, the QHY 600, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the size of that raw file.
Yes.
I mean, it's a huge file, and the data that's going to be coming out with the next generations of these cameras are all going to be up there. So definitely storage is really important as well.
Storage is very, very important. That is absolutely, Pete. So you don't want to skimp on that storage. But the great thing about storage is that I mentioned you could buy external USB 3 or 3.2 speed hard drives, which are high speed. And as long as your laptop can support USB 3 or 3.2, you're usually okay. Or if you're doing like, say, maybe a Mac, I think do Macs use Thunderbolt or something like that? Do Mac use Thunderbolt? So something like that.
Mac is USB-C.
USB-C, okay, but it's high speed as well. But it's a high speed USB-C.
It's very high speed.
So stuff like that.
Are the RAIDs still pretty popular?
I'm sorry, the what?
Remember the RAIDs, the RAIDs? Remember the RAIDs? Are they still popular?
RAIDs aren't necessarily popular for when you're looking. RAIDs are more for for businesses, for servers, because it's basically you're having redundancy on your hard drives. So in case a hard drive crashes, you have redundancy that you have a backup, you have a secondary hard drive, so you lose that data. Okay.
Man,
so
I was wondering why I was talking and nobody was stopping, because my phone, my mic's been on mute for like 10 minutes. I'm sitting there, I'm like, Eric, shut up, I'm talking.
That's what I said. You stink.
So I'm gonna throw. Here comes the monkey wrench.
Yep, here it is.
We spend so much time acquiring data.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna disagree with you on this, Eric. The double redundancy on a NAS for storage.
I was talking about. I was going for Pete. Doing the acquisition.
Yeah, but saving your acquisition data.
Yeah.
Put it on a NAS. I mean, I'll be dead honest with you. I got a 4-bay NAS. I've
got one here as well.
So I'm sure you do. I know you do.
I got one here as well. But we were just talking about this acquisition in the laptop. But to Pete's point, that storage, yes, RAID, yes. If you want to purchase what they call a network attached storage, or a storage area network, which is a bunch of hard drives, you want redundancy, because you don't want to lose all that data.
Yeah.
And I've got me right here. I've got a 16 terabyte NAS.
Yep, me too.
But it's RAID 1, so it's basically I'm using 8 terabytes. Okay. Yeah. So yes, you absolutely, if you can afford it, as you get into this, and like I say, astrophotography, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
you just keep going down the rabbit hole. You are so Alice. You are eating that candy. You are getting smaller, then you're getting bigger. You are going down that rabbit hole until you get to the point where you says, "The heck with it all, off with their heads."
It's the black hole. It's the black hole.
It is a black hole.
It is, and you know what? And you let me tell you something. The first time, and it's going to happen eventually. If you only got your one computer and your one hard drive and whatever, it's going to happen. One day, it's going to happen. All of a sudden, something's going to happen, and your files are going to be gone.
Oh, hey, I can test that right now, because I talked to you about a month ago. I had my platter drive and I dropped it.
Yeah.
And all my raw data is on that platter drive. And now I've got to find a source to go ahead and see if I can extract it. But That's so true.
So
and to say to that point, Pete, this is why I'm also going to mention really consider some sort of online backup.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Really start to consider
absolutely,
some
Eric.
sort of online backup, such as maybe Backblaze.
Backblaze I use,
I use Backblaze, and it's really inexpensive. It's like $7 a month,
yeah, something like it's really cheap.
and I can back up everything.
And
Everything
it backs
that's directly attached to my computer, it backs it up.
anything. So if you have external hard drives attached, so like I'm crazy with backups now. I got a bad virus one year, and I never went back. So now I got backup on backups. It's crazy. So on my main computer, I have 3 hard drives that are external that are attached to that.
Yeah.
And my NAS.
Yes.
Even though it won't do NAS. It won't do NAS.
I've got my crate. I've got a cradle right here with 3 hard drives sitting in it.
Yeah.
With that's directly attached, and right around the corner here, because I'm an IT guy, I have an actual network rack.
Yeah, me too. Mine's in there.
I've got a NAS right sitting in there.
You know what's going to be so interesting is in the future when we all die and there's no humanity left, and these aliens come down and they're going to find all the storage, and they're going to say, "Oh my God, here's the whole written history of mankind."
That's what they're going to do. Yeah, but even Hogarth was talking about his data. He has an 18 terabyte NAS with 5 drives, and it, and for those of you guys who don't know what a NAS can do for you, usually, at least with the Synology one, that's what I have. I have a Synology NAS. And it's got 4 bays.
I got a Buffalo, but yeah, okay.
You got a Buffalo, okay. I know Jason has a QNAP. I mean, there are a bunch of ones out there that you could use. And basically, they're hot swappable drives in there where you kind of pull them in and pull them out. So if drive A craps out, that's okay. Because you know what? Drive C is a copy of drive A.
Yeah.
And drive B and D are swappable that way. So you'll never lose anything. And on top of that, you got the Backblaze, who's been copying everything. And so all you got to do is send them $100. I'll send you a new hard drive. Yeah. or on a thumb drive or whatever it is. It's they'll send you all the files.
Yep.
And so it's a really, really, I got a Nighton Trojan.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Oh man. It thank God it didn't touch any of my. It only knew doc files. It only knew doc, like office stuff. Doc, PDF, Excel, PowerPoint. That's it. It didn't know anything about JPEGs, TIFFs, FITs. Didn't know anything. So all that was saved. So all my Astro photos were good. But let me tell you, ever since that day I got that virus, and it was me. That was another stupid brain fart that everybody knows me. I get brain farts all the time. I was playing around with my network. I was working with remote desktop connection. I left 3389 open. And the next thing I know, all of a sudden my computer shuts down.
Yeah.
And I turn it on and it says, you must pay $6,000 to get your files back.
Yeah.
And of course I didn't pay for it, but
yeah. But everybody, everybody's chiming in, a lot of people, Mark has a NAS.
Yep.
Syntho, I think he was saying he uses cloud-based storage. MS Quattro, RAID 5, yes, absolutely. RAID 5 is much better than RAID 1 because basically you have parity and you can lose, a couple of drives before everything goes out. You know? So yes, do not misunderstand me. Yes, I know I have RAID 1. If I wanted to, yes, I could go to RAID 5.0 or something like that, but it is what it is. But I'm fine with it. So that's just for me. But yeah, I do agree with you. Yeah, RAID 5 is usually ready to go because that's the way I have it going at work. I have actually RAID 50 going at work. But
that's a server base. That's a
server based.
Yeah. Eric has a big computer at work.
Yeah, I've got multiple big computers at work. But yes, thank you, Spider Utility. Yes, I know it's time for me to calibrate.
Oh no, you got the splash screen.
Splash screen. What are your thoughts on antivirus?
Yes.
Buy a Mac.
Oh,
Macs get viruses too, man.
Yes.
I've had Macs for more than 20 years. I've never had one. Not one.
I've had Windows computers for 30 years, and I've had one, and it was bad.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, antivirus on a Windows computer, absolutely. You got to have something.
Absolutely. You gotta have
something.
You gotta have.
Yeah, not Norton. I agree, Captain. Not Norton. No, that's a resource hog. don't do. Yeah, Derek's like,
That is what we call bloatware.
yeah, exactly. Don't use Norton. Don't use Norton. No Norton.
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
McAfee. McAfee, right? These the other one.
McAfee
too.
that- horrible.
McAfee too.
So
Running on,
what-
I have in my house, I have a MacBook Pro. Let's see, we have 2 MacBook Pros, a Mac Pro, all kinds of iPads and iPhones. We have never purchased at all. Nothing. Never installed any virus software, nothing ever in more than 17, 18 years. Never had to use it.
I agree. Listen, I got Scott. I agree with you. I mean, I've never had. I've had Macs. I've had MacBook Pros. I've never bought anything for virus software. I never needed it. However, I don't want. But I don't want. I don't want the mass public that watches us to get the idea that Macs don't get hit by viruses, because they do, and they can. Me, I'm a little crazy and anal with that. Even if I had a Mac now, I'd probably still get something. But that's just me. Now I don't know what you guys use. What do you guys? We already blasted McAfee and Norton. So if we're not using that, I know what I use. What do you guys use for antivirus?
I use ESET.
What do you use?
ESET. ESET. ESET.
Okay.
I don't know that one.
Okay. I use a combination of Avast, and I also use Malwarebytes.
Okay. All right. Scott doesn't use anything.
I'm using Bitdefender.
That's what I use. I use Bitdefender.
Bitdefender. Okay.
Yeah. I don't use Kaspersky.
No. Is Kaspersky
Oh.
even still around?
Yeah, they are. Kaspersky's still around, and they have a really, really good like seek and destroy startup if you have an issue. But other than that, I wouldn't use them. I don't use them. I mean, I like Bitdefender. I've used it for years, and I haven't had a problem since I've used them. So
yeah, I just started using it a few months ago. I've never really used anything. McAfee one, I think was
don't
installed. And that just like, oh my gosh, I was ready to blow the thing up just to make it go away. But just started using the Bitdefender, I'll say about 2 months ago. I don't even remember what it was specifically, but it was like, you know what? Maybe I need to get something, So, of course, consult the 20 somethings in my house. It's like, okay, y'all, what do I need to be using?
Yeah,
right.
No, I mean, it's Bitdefender is good for me. It's not a huge lag on the resources on the computer, which is something I look for that I really look for, because it's been said about 4 times on the chatter already about Norton and how it slows down the computer. And because they just load up, they just like literally they take up more resources than Windows, and that's hard to do.
Windows is known for its own. Microsoft puts its own bloatware on these running Windows and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's why I would just rather do. Going back to how we started this conversation was when you do your custom build, just buy the OEM Windows and just choose what you want to put on there and what you don't. And
Windows Defender works good.
What's that?
Windows Defender actually works good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And it's free. It's part of Windows, so it does actually.
It's gotten a lot better since its inception. It used to be garbage.
Yeah.
But but now because a lot of things like to Scott's point, Mac, and it has always been they've always had this stigma about them, about how strong they are against viruses, and it's kind of like it's getting less and less of a stigma, but it's interesting how Windows all of a sudden their internal virus software got so much better. But still there are better options out there than Windows.
The other thing to talk about, other than just virus software, is VPN.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
you know that the VPN is really nice, especially if you don't want people looking at what you're looking at.
That's true.
You know, you don't want them prying into your browsing history. You don't want them, you know, looking at this and looking at that. You know, because the VPN just stops it.
It does stop it.
Yeah, it makes everybody think you're in Belarus.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
you know, and for the Bitdefender users out there, there is Bitdefender VPN as well. It's an add-on. There are other ones like IPVanish or NordVPN or a couple other ones out there.
HMA, hide my bleep.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
The one that I like and I highly recommend is ExpressVPN.
ExpressVPN is very good.
Yep. Really good too.
Yep.
I think it's like $6 or $7, you know, a month. You get a 12-month deal, and you're good. You just turn it on, and it works on all your devices.
Yep.
However, do not try and use Netflix when you have the VPN on. You won't be able to watch anything because it'll think you're in Belarus. But if you're sitting there and you want to kind of just have that extra layer of protection, and you're not doing, you know, that kind of streaming stuff, it's absolutely necessary for a VPN, and they make it for your phone too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They make it for your phone too. So if you don't want anybody messing around with your phone, and especially if you're a drone user, listen to this stuff.
Yeah.
If you're a drone user and you're using your phone as the connector, which most people are using, I have seen people get their drone stolen from the sky.
Yep.
And flown. God knows, they hacked into their phone, took over controls of the drone, and landed it right in front of their car, and took the drone and walked away with the drone.
That's interesting to know, because my mom's been flying drones for a few years and is finally like trying to get me. And I've been trying to drag her into my rabbit hole, and she's done. You know, it's like, here, Merry Christmas, join mine. So So,
but I've actually seen that happen. What
would that mess with the satellite connections or anything? You know,
what, the VPN?
Yeah. When you're trying to, because I know when I I've got to get my satellites before I can take my drone off.
No, because that's GPS. It's not wireless.
Yeah,
so it's a completely different language. Yeah. So
different system.
Yeah. So you know, just when you're at the VPN now and you have it on your phone, the connections to your drone, you're fine with the drone, but everyone else can't get into the signal from your drone because of the signal is being it's being rerouted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you're gonna buy a drone, because I'm a drone user, I use my drone for photography.
What kind do you have?
You know, it's a DJI Mavic 2 Pro.
You got the Mavic. My mom just got the Mavic 3, and she got me a Mavic Mini.
Ooh, be careful with the Mini. You could crash that thing.
I already have. Yeah. So I've got a new Mavic Mini, and I did get the care protection because I done crashed the poor thing already.
Oh man.
Well, the thing that I recommend for any Mavic user is to get the Pro controller.
Yeah, I agree. They're just expensive.
That thing is so nice. You know, one, you're not having to unplug your. The first time I used it, I broke my phone case taking the thing off. And I just, like, too lazy to bother finding a new one. But you can see it. You can actually see what's on the screen without. Nice.
I haven't gotten into drones yet. I'm sure I will, especially because they're great for video. I mean,
they are. That's the reason why I got it.
Yeah, Dan, you have one. I mean, there's who? What's his name? Dylan. Dylan has one.
Dylan did some great work with his.
He does some great work with him. So, so they're great.
But, and Scott did some great work with his too, man. For sure.
Yeah, you did some great work with yours.
Yeah,
especially in your intros and everything.
Yeah.
So, so they're very useful. But as I'm saying, getting back to a little bit on what we were talking about with PCs, just know that these computers that these purchases of your telescope, these cameras, all these other all of the mount, all of that equipment, it's very important. But it's just as important to have a good computer because you're going to need a very good computer to do the acquisition. You're going to need a very good computer to, process these images. You don't want to be waiting around, for God knows how long. If you go to get a cup of coffee and then you come back and your stuff is done, great. But if you got to go out and drink a whole pot while your stuff is working, and processing and doing all the crunching, you got a bit of a problem there. You might want to start thinking about making a few changes. So it's just some of these things that when you get down this rabbit hole, things you're going to have to consider and just be aware of. It's just one of the parts of getting started in astrophotography. That you're gonna have to be, be aware of that you're gonna have to get a good computer. And to run, your pics inside your APP, your Photoshop, whatever else that that you're going to be running for post and everything, and acquisition. So I wanted just to throw that out there, my little, as a talking point, especially for people who are getting started.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, for those of you that are using either ASIRs or Eagles, you don't need, because that's what's taking your acquisition. Your ASIR or your Eagle is doing your acquisition for you. So you can do something very, very on the cheap. Like I believe Christopher said, just buy a cheap Chromebook, put on whatever your Parallels client or AnyDesk, or use remote desktop connection, whatever you want to do to log into your Eagle, or download the ASIR app and go that way through the ASIR. So, you don't need that for acquisition at that point, because you have something else doing it for you. That's the brains. But to Eric's point, when you get into that processing stage, you're going to need something that kicks.
Yeah.
You're going to need something that kicks. You can't sit there and run it. Do not attempt to do something on something like, do not try and process on this.
No.
Don't do that. Don't process on this garbage Hewlett Packard laptop. You don't want to do that. I
remedied that. I did, and I'm going to tell you, because like I said, it was like an HP Intel 5. I got it Black Friday like 2-3 years ago when I first started imaging, and I needed something to go out, and I was doing my processing on it, and I mean, it did okay. It wasn't good, but when I got this one, it's a Lenovo, so it's a small, it's the all-in-one. So because I don't have a lot of space, but with a Ryzen 5, so knocking on my son's door saying, "Hunter, I need some help. Ask your gamer friends, what do I need?" So they helped me pick out one in my price range, and what a difference! Oh my gosh! If nothing else, just a screen size. I have been processing on a 14-inch screen. So being able to,
Wow.
So I know, right? But what a difference!
Legendary.
So, I have a topic for another day. Dan, we're going to do a tour of your closet of death. That's going to be the topic for another day. We want to find out what's really in there.
What's really in there?
Oh no.
You're gonna have the intro with the squeaky door, and the Scooby-Doo entry.
There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of nuts and bolts in there, like literally a lot of nuts and bolts.
As the door opens.
I mean, when you start pulling out those laptops and tablets, but when you started putting out Image Plus from 95, I'm going, oh man, there's some stuff way back in there.
Yeah.
That's in my closet of death.
Oh, geez.
So as far as capture, I think so after our Friday show, I ended up, busting out my Raspberry Pi, and obviously you guys I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I can figure things out. If there's information out there, I can, generally walk my way through most of it. It's the Pi 4. I think I spent like $60 on it. And I was able to get it up and running. I mean, now I did have a hard time with the Indigo. I did have a little bit of hard time with that one, but I
Okay.
spent a good part of Saturday afternoon, playing around. And, had I been a little more tech savvy, I probably could have gotten the Indigo Sky up and going, but I was able to get the AstroBerry going before the night was out. I was able to, I wasn't able to do any capture because it was cloudy, but I had my mount running. I had my camera running. I had everything. And I'd even, I think, when I got on with you guys, I had my guide camera and my imaging camera mixed up, even got that figured out.
Nice.
And the only thing I wasn't able to do was plate solve. And that was just because I had to, I still have to download the files for that. And I just haven't gotten back to it. But I mean, that's a fairly inexpensive, alternative for somebody looking for just a capture. I mean, especially if you're just getting started and you're not really familiar with another program.
Okay.
I mean, I think for myself, the hardest part is going to be learning, to use the K-Stars and the Echoes.
Yep,
That's
Echoes,
gonna be the hardest part because I've been using APT pretty much. I used a Backyard EOS for a little bit,
Yep.
and then I've been in APT. I went to SGP for a little bit, got frustrated, went right back to APT, and I've kind of stuck with that. But if you're somebody that's just getting started and you're, anywhere near, computer savvy, I mean, that's a really good alternative. I mean, it had, and like I said, I played around and I went back and forth. Indigo Sky, I'm like, okay, this isn't working. Let me try and, flash that image again. Let me try this again. Let me try this again. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and try the AstroBerry and see how this works, and up and going. So
Nice.
And, and I was able to log in. I logged into, able to access it from my computer, able to access it from my phone. So, if I can get that, something like that up and running, I imagine somebody out there that's way more tech savvy can do it probably a lot easier. So.
Yeah, Chris said if you like APT, try CCDCL on AstroBerry.
Will do. Absolutely. Absolutely.
CCDCL. So,
but you also bring up a good point, Jesse, because you're using a Raspberry Pi. So that goes to show also when it comes to acquisition, when you're doing the acquisition, and I know, Dan, we were talking about, the laptop stuff like that, but it just goes to show you don't need a huge amount for the acquisition. You do need the storage. But besides that, you really don't. Because, I mean, you look at an ASI Air. An ASI Air itself is a couple $100, and it's very small. And it doesn't have a lot of processing, but it does so many things. An Eagle, overall, it's good, it's powerful, but it's relatively inexpensive, compared to, a larger, full-blown laptop. But yeah. So, but you can run quite a bit of stuff on there, and you can, if you have a Raspberry Pi, anything like that, and if you can run AstroBerry or Indigo, and if you have the tech savvy to run Indigo, you can do it on these Raspberry Pis, and you could be very successful when it comes to your acquisition. But even to who was it? It was someone who made a really good point. I believe it was Bloodstone. Don't skimp on the processing machine.
Yeah.
Don't skimp on
No.
it. That's the one you don't want to skimp on.
Because you know what? The money that you end up skimping on it is gonna just be added onto your frustration.
And you know what? You're gonna end up buying it later.
Yeah. And that goes back to what we say all the time. Buy once, cry once. And I mean, to everybody's point, you really get what you pay for. I gotta say, you get what you pay for. If the more money you put into it, hopefully the idea is the less frustration you'll have. It doesn't always work out that way, but hopefully if you have a little bit of the know-how, you'll be able to offset some. Oh, Pete's going to say something. Pete's got something to say. Whenever he leans forward into the camera like this, he's ready to say something. Come on, give me the case in points, Pete.
No, I agree with you. It's just like, it's like I always tell people, I mean, I understand that everybody has a budget, but don't buy something just to buy it and then think, you know what, I should have just waited, because would haves, could haves, and should haves. I mean, it's all around us. Wait. Save your money and buy the best product that you can for the budget that you've got.
Exactly.
That's absolutely what it is.
Yeah.
Well, one of the problems that people have is that, most people don't think of computers in the right way. They'll look at a computer at Sam's Club for $6.99 and think, oh, well, that's going to do me.
Yeah.
And what that thing is basically good for watching YouTube videos, Facebook, and sending email, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Writing some, you try to run Photoshop through that thing, you're going to be wanting to eat a gun. All right,
it's gonna start smoking in the background.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And you start putting some of that resource intensive software into one of those puppies. Forget about it. But then again, you don't have to go crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever looked on the Mac site, okay, but they have computers on that site, full dual monitor setup computers, cheese graters, full on cheese graters, $75,000 to $80,000.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, you can spend stupid amounts of money on computers. You don't have to, but you also don't want to go to the other end of the spectrum and try to run some of this incredibly, resource intensive software through a little tiny garden hose when you're supposed to be running it to a 4-inch fire hose.
Yeah.
You are
true.
Spend the extra $1,000, spend the extra $2,000. I mean, I'm looking at a computer right here, right? You talk about a $70,000 cheese grater. I'm looking at a 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is a top of the line computer, right? Apple M1. It's got a 10-core, get this, it's got a 10-core CPU, a 32-core GPU, and a 16-core neutral engine, all inside a laptop. Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
I wouldn't want to put that on my legs, though.
$4,000.
But like you said, it's $4,000.
Yeah.
$4,000.
So, but see, the thing is that you're not skimping on things.
Yeah.
No.
You're not skimping.
No.
Because
that little computer,
for a Mac,
MacBook Pro, that thing will run. It will run that intensive software all day long.
Mm-hmm.
All day long.
Yeah.
You have a good point.
Yeah, I mean, again, but it really comes down to, and if we're talking realism here, not everybody has $5,000 to spend on a laptop. In all fairness, I know I don't. But that being
I mean,
said,
you look at me. I don't have that either. That's why you look at my stuff, and my stuff was half that.
Right. And that goes back to what we were talking about. You really stretch the budget a little bit.
But you do
stretch it a little bit.
As much as you can.
Yeah. And I pulled up the top of the line. I mean, I maxed it out, except for memory. I kept it at 2 terabytes of memory, right? Okay. But I had top of the line, everything, the best MacBook Pro you could get, $4,000. You can get them for under $2,500.
Yeah, you can.
Oh no! We're asking questions about the threading on the Pix Insight and APT. We're getting questions on.
Oh yeah. So sorry, let me share my screen really fast, and I can.
And then I'll show the Pix Insight side.
Yep. So.
Let me get Pix Insight up. Where is it?
So let me know when.
And you can show APT whenever you're ready. I'll get mine up.
So for me, it's really easy. Because if you can, let me see if I can zoom in here. Oh, I can't do it. But right here under config or CFG, right? It is basically, it's right here where you can set how much memory you want to set and dedicate towards your to APP. Okay, so for me right now, I'm running 64 gig of RAM. I threw at it 48. Okay. So there's that. And then also here is where you can set your CPU. So how many threads you want to use?
Let me see if I can get you a little bigger.
Sorry, yeah, because I don't know if I can maximize here, APP, but I don't know if that can help, to center it right there.
Yeah, I just made it smaller.
Sorry. Okay. But it's right there in the top left corner.
Got it.
CFG and the CPU, and it'll
Got
tell
it.
you how much you're using right here and how much you can set. So these two buttons, this bar here, and this CFG button here.
Got it.
So yeah, so that's basically how you would do it in APP. So I'll go ahead and let you share now, so you can show PI.
I thought I had it up. I must have closed it. All right, so let's see. Screen 2. Okay, so there are a couple of things with Pix Insight that you could do to help speed up your processing. And I gotta give credit to who I learned this from. I learned this from AstroDoc, Ron Breacher. So I got to give him credit. This was not something that I figured out on my own. So I learned from him, and I'm passing it on to everybody else. So I just want to make sure that that's known. So here is Pix Insight, and this is just a blank. I just opened it up. And as you go under Edit and then Global Preferences, okay, you'll see a whole bunch of things here that you could do. If you don't want to see the splash screen at startup, you could uncheck that. Check for updates at startup should always be checked. Not much. Everything here is kind of defaulted here, but as you go into where is it? Directories and network. Well, let's go to the threading first. So the threads here are parallel processing and threads. So everybody knows right now that I have a 16 core, and people are probably saying, well, why do you only using 10? Well, the first thing is you never want to use them all.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, because you use them all, then you're not going to be able to do double duty or triple duty running other programs at the same time. It's gonna really lag on you.
Yeah.
So and I'll show you the reason why.
Anyway.
What's that?
I said 10 is plenty anyway.
Yep, 10 is plenty anyway, but there's a reason why I chose 10, and I'll go to that in a second. Now, hopefully this doesn't this is going to screw up on me, because usually I'm not running all these programs also at the same time. But then the other thing that you could do with Pix Insight is put where your swap files are located. Now I have a dedicated SSD drive just for my Pix Insight swap files. So when you go under directories and network, so P is my solid state drive for Pix Insight, and I made folders called Pix Insight swap directories. Now for every core that I was using, I put in another entry. I added until I get up to that 10. All right. And that's how I would do that. Yep. Now, how do I check this? How do I know that it's actually working? Okay, there's something called a benchmark that you can do. You can run a benchmark test. Once you're done with setting up all these things, there's a couple other things. There's a 24-bit. Where is it? Enable 24-bit. Where is it that you want to have it set up? Well, you definitely want to enable the CUDA if you're doing StarNet. Where's the other thing that? Yeah, use 24-bit screen transfer function. You want to use that because you'll get the best colors out of that. Just make sure that that's checked as well.
Yes, now, you're correct. Sorry. Yes, NEEF is canceled. NEEF and NEAC are canceled.
Yeah, I was gonna make NEEF is canceled. They officially canceled tonight. It's been all over the place, so unfortunately, it's not happening. So they canceled it. So that being said, you can do what's called the benchmark, and that's under script and benchmarks and Pix Insight benchmark. Now this is going to be a little weird because I'm running streaming video and stuff like that. So the numbers.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily do it if you're going to.
Yeah, I don't want to run this right now. But what you're going to do is you would run this, and it's going to give you some numbers. So you want to keep on adding threads until you start seeing the numbers kind of not increase anymore.
Right.
Once they flatten out, leave it there. But again, work it like, if you have a 12 core, work it like half, and then go work your way up. But never use the amount. Leave yourself 3 or 4 cores just to do regular work other than what you're doing. And that's that. I hope
Yeah, you
that
gotta have something to watch YouTube.
Yeah, while you're processing. Yeah, or if you're like me, where you're watching the Islander game while you're processing.
Right, exactly.
The combination of swap disk and memory works. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna do that. There's a couple of numbers in there that's I forget what they're actually for, but when you run the benchmark, keep an eye on those numbers. Go Pens. There you go, Eddie. Thanks. Islander season is over. I'm not. I'm.
Go Lightning.
Oh, geez.
Oh, here we go.
Here
we go.
There we go. So that's Picks Insight. So now Bloodstone's getting kicked. He's a Ranger fan. Oh, then there goes Pete. He's gonna go get his Toronto hat. That hasn't made it.
Absolutely, Dan. If we're going,
How did I know you were going to come back with the Toronto hat? I knew he was going to come back with the Toronto hat. Oh God, I can't with you guys.
I'm going to take my son to one of the Lightning games.
You guys have fun with that.
I hope you get struck. But so I'll go get my Lundqvist. Oh yeah. Go get your King jersey. You know what they call Lundqvist on Long Island? The king without the ring, baby. That's what they call it. That's what they call him. Sorry.
Off the rails.
Hey, I blame it all on Dylan. It's all Dylan's fault. But that being said, there's a lot of stuff that you could do with processing and buying a computer, whatever. But just like everybody has said tonight, work with your budget, stretch it a little bit, and get the best you can. Just like when you're dealing with the scope. Shut up, Peter. I'm gonna hold on, Pete. I'm gonna hide you for a second. There you go. You're gone. See you later. But yeah, seriously though, just get what you can get the most powerful thing you can that fits in your budget, because with processing, you cannot skimp on it. Just like you don't want to skimp on a mount. Same exact thing. You don't want to skimp on the mount. The mount's one of the most important things, if not the most important thing you could get when you're doing astrophotography. Put all your money into that. Once you put your money into that, you can upgrade the other stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of mounts, I don't know if you guys have seen on Facebook recently, because everybody knows I'm a ZWO nut, and they have the AM5 coming.
Yeah,
and they're doing testing, and TJ Conley is he's working with ZWO. I think he works for ZWO, and the new AM5, which is their new harmonic drive, the $2,000 harmonic drive. He's actually doing testing with long focal length. So basically, he's using his 9 1/4 full blown.
Did we get hacked again?
You get hacked? Something happened?
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know what just happened.
That was
I hear you. Cannot see you.
I can't see you,
Dan. You are.
There's a pelican there.
You can hear me?
I can see your pelican, but I can't see you.
But you can hear me, right?
But I can hear you.
You're a ghost.
Yeah, you are a ghost, man.
Nice.
See,
So
you talk Lundqvist, look what happens.
Yeah, no, right?
That's what it is. It's a dirty Ranger curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. They put me in timeout. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
They put me in timeout. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of the tests of this new harmonic drive. And TJ and Simon, they've been testing it, and I tend to trust especially Simon and TJ, because they've been doing this for quite a while, and they work hard, with this stuff, and they really put it through its paces. So now the initial setup with the AM5 was it was really only going to be good for what they call the short focal length telescopes, right? Anything that was probably under, I think, 600 millimeter focal length. However, TJ with his, doing his testing, he's putting this thing to the test, and he's actually using his 9 1/4 edge with the aluminum dew shield up front. He's got his camera I believe he's using an OAG, as well as I don't know if he has a filter wheel with this or not, but he's putting on some weight onto this little mount.
But Eric, the question is what's the tripod?
Yeah, but see, that's a good point. He's actually using his Celestron tripod. He's using the Celestron tripod because he can mount the AM5 on that. I think he's using either his AVX or his CGE leg.
If you got a heavy duty tripod, yeah, no question about it. Like
you can handle it.
Like an RST 135, you can put a 9 1/4 on there, no problem, as long as you got a good tripod.
As long as you got a good tripod, yep. And so it's kind of, for me, it's kind of encouraging. I'm not planning on getting this until maybe for a while, but to see these small harmonic drives, at least now ZWO, it looks like they're actually going to do something better, put out a better product than what we had to deal with Sharpstar and what Dan had to go through with the Sharpstar harmonic drive. But and there he is.
I'm trying to fix
back.
it. So.
Welcome back. So
I'm looking at these pictures of TJ Connolly's here. I'm looking at this, and it's like it almost doesn't even look like it should be.
It should be able to support this guy.
Right. I'm looking at this like, wow, that's actually tremendous. If I didn't know who he was and what he was doing, I'd be like, what is this dude doing?
Yeah,
here?
I'd be a little bit skeptical, but I've known TJ here for a couple of years, and and as well as Simon here, but and they're putting this thing through its paces. This little guy, they're putting this mount through its paces, and it's going to be interesting because I believe it does have a brake and all that. So if you pull power, it's not going to just drop, because that was one of the things that people were asking, especially with these harmonic drives. If it doesn't have that brake or anything like that, what's going to happen, if you lose power? So it holds that sucker up. But yeah, you're going to need, I would say if you have a good tripod, like he's using with his, he's using his CJ Celestron, either AVX or CGEM tripod on this, and he's able to mount it onto there and attach it to it. It should be promising. Yeah. Pete, you want to talk a little bit about what your setup is right there, what you have behind you?
That's basically my portable setup. It's kind of a Frankenstein combination of a bunch of different things, but it's an ATS tripod. It's a Mighty Mount head, and it's a Borg 107. It's the 600 millimeter vocal length f 5.6.
Okay.
And then riding piggyback on top of it is just another smaller guide scope.
Is that an Evo Star? Is that an Evo?
It's an Evo Star, yeah. It's an Evo Star. Mm-hmm. And with the 294 camera, just to kind of do some wide stuff.
Right on.
The guide camera is SBIG STI guide camera that's got the mechanical shutter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the camera is a Hutech Canon 6D that was shipped to Japan to get cooled. So it's a cooled DSLR. So it pulls down to minus 40 degrees below ambient, which is kind of nice.
That's pretty slick.
But, as I said, I've got a bunch of other scopes that I'm working here. I got a Takahashi 130 that I'm working on for a couple of clients. I've got another Velocity 200 RH that I'll put up here to do some testing on it. The weather now is finally getting good. I took it out about 2 weeks ago because we had a couple of nights and I was able to do some work on it.
Okay.
But as I said, being up here in the foothills, we're kind of like you, Eric. We get a lot of clouds rolling in and it drops down to 20 degrees. And I think the next thing is to get an Eagle where I can definitely just stay inside and just put the unit out.
Yeah.
But I think Scott's going to be talking about his rainbow.
Yeah. The beach.
The tripod. You were talking about having a good tripod. that you're going to be real hard pressed to find something beefier.
Can you maximize him, Dan?
What was that?
Can you maximize his?
Yeah.
You can just for Dan. Yeah, for Scott. There we go. Thank you.
I mean, you can see this much better in the videos that I've got on the channel, but that tripod is a monster.
Oh yeah, look at those legs. Yeah.
Well, that's the Los Mondi, right?
It is. It's the Los Mondi. It's the Los Mondi HD, and it's got the MAL head with the Los Mondi emblazoned on there. And then that custom pure plate from Dan's Custom Plates is what marries the MAL to the rainbow. But wow. I mean, this is about in comparison to like the 9 1/4 on the 135E.
Yep.
This is the 14 on the 300. It's in ratio. It's about the same. And this setup right here, it's rock solid. I don't know how well you can see the strapping that I've got here, but this setup, Pete actually helped me to build this. He came in with some ideas and some brainstorming on some of the other things, but what it ultimately came down to was just having these extra brackets down here on the wheelie bar, and then a center eye bolt that goes right up through the center of that the tripod, and I just put a 1,200-pound eye bolt up in there, and that's D-ringed and strapped. And I'm telling you something, there ain't no way in hell that thing is moving.
No, no way.
Rock solid. That's really thanks to Pete. He was, when we were first, coming up with this idea, I knew that I wanted to have something that was going to allow the whole setup to be locked together, so that there was no way in hell it was going to come off there. And that setup, I don't think you could do better.
Yeah, you basically have a mobile pier.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And that's thanks to Peter.
Oh, and it's just, it was a pleasure building it, Scott, because I envisioned what I saw and I looked at it and I thought, wow, man, this thing is going to be absolutely amazing. And I mean, I can't wait to see those images when you take it out. I think we're all going to be in that same mode.
I'm kind of enthusiastic to see when you're finally getting it out there and then under the Florida sky.
I just got the new ramp today. The one that was destroyed last week. They literally just shipped the new ramp to me today. I just set it out up on the deck, and it works great. I gotta set it into the dirt a little better, but it's rock solid. So I'm not gonna have. I don't think I'm gonna have any problem in pulling that scope up on that ramp and getting it up onto the deck.
Nice.
That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the results that you're going to get out of that thing.
Yeah,
I think like as Eric was saying is that having because once again the harmonic drive mounts are the fulcrum, they're the center point of all these. So depending upon the scope, it is really dependent upon what scope is going to be on the top of it is going to predicate what the tripod is going to be.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing because, I mean, definitely a 9 1/4 on that little mount, I can't see no problem with it. Just make damn sure it's a heavy duty tripod.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to have something to secure it.
Yeah, for sure. So I know, and so I'm kind of curious about it. I'm gonna wait. I'm one of those types that just like with Windows and everything else, I usually wait a year, before I
I haven't done the 11 drop yet. I haven't done that yet.
So, so I'll go down a rabbit hole a little further, next year or something, and I'll get the AM5 and it'll be something because I even think I can be able to secure it onto my pier, to even test it out using my pier. I don't think I have a problem with that, but to have it as a great little travel mount. I mean, that thing's probably weighs only like 5-6 pounds.
Yeah.
That would be so cool for me instead of me and the AVX, it's only like the head is only like maybe 25, 30 pounds, something like that. But compare that to that AM5, which is 5 pounds, and then you got 30, and when you want to start traveling around with this stuff,
Just pick up and go with it.
Dark side, you can pick
Off
up.
you go.
I can pick up. I can take the AVX legs, which are probably about 8 pounds themselves. Pick it up, and go.
Yeah.
And I'm good.
Yep.
And it's so small, it won't take up as much space. When you travel.
I'm really close to, if anybody hasn't seen the video with Simon Lewis that was on the show a couple of weeks ago, take a look at it. He gives us a really good rundown on the AM5, and I'm at the point where I can't wait to get I think I'm going to get my hands on one within the next 4 weeks, just to see what I could do with it, with the ASI air and all that kind of stuff, and see what the deal is, because that may be an opportunity to do that kind of like when I go to the beach right now, I still take my I take my EQ6R. I take the EQ6R, but you know what? It's heavy. It's heavy, and if I could run my 127 on this little dinky mount without counterweights,
exactly,
it might be worth the 2350 or whatever it is with the legs.
Yeah.
When is this going to be available?
I believe it's going to be in May.
Well, it looks like late April, early May. I know Camera Concepts is taking pre-orders for it, so we have 10 coming in on the first shipment. 5 of them are sold already, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah, definitely looking at that. I mean, for a nice is the EQR, that's what I'm using, and like once I get it set down and I have a polar aligned, I don't want to move it because leaves, I mean, I think I've shown you guys some of the pictures of my crazy yard, and I'm heavily wooded, so like I get a polar aligned and I don't want to touch it because that's just such a process. And I'm off for the summers, I want to go and do stuff, and I'm like, I can't go anywhere unless I take my mount. Like my mom's trying to get me to come down. She's in Reddington Shores, so she's a few miles down the road from you, Scott. She's trying to get me to come down. I'm like, yes, but let us have a conversation here. Like I don't want to be gone for the summer and not be able to image. Oh
no. Well, not for nothing, but you can get the RST, the RST 135 without the encoders. I think it's
3,800, isn't it?
And no, I don't think it's that. I think it was 3,400 feet mile. Right, but it also has. You can get a pier. You can get the mini pier for it, and the plate that fits inside the Gitzo tripod. And I don't know what you know about Gitzo tripods, but they're freaking tanks. They're bulletproof, and they're all carbon fiber. They're the best. Gitzo they are the gold standard in photography tripods. I have a great big one that I use for landscape.
And how much is it? And you said it's carbon fiber. How much does it weigh?
That tripod is about.
Which tripod?
I would say it's probably about 8 pounds.
Wow.
Hey Scott, is it the 35 series or the 45 series? Because you got to get up in that series 35 to 45 to really get the stability on that tripod before it gets.
Yeah, no, it's their top of the line. It's the best one they make.
Yeah.
And the damn thing goes up 20 feet.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah, it's enormous. It's just a phenomenal tripod. But it when you put it down at just one extension, so you've only got it maybe 4 or 5 feet off the ground. It's that thing is rock solid. It'll easily hold 90 to 100 pounds.
Wow,
no sweat.
That's incredible.
Wow,
and this is what I'm talking about. As you're looking at these smaller mounts, these harmonic drive mounts like the AM5, that is about 5-6 pounds. And then if you have the money, like get this Gitzo that you're mentioning, which is 8 pounds. It's like, my goodness, to go traveling to a dark sky site or something like that. It's almost like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'm
just curious to see the performance. I know Simon and TJ are really putting this mount through the ringer to try and see how it performs.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see on it's really right now. It's such a small sample size right now.
It is. It is.
So I'm really curious to see when it gets out to the masses. I mean, is it going to be like the Sharp Star when it says, "Hey, what's your guiding accuracy?" It says, "Check PhD." I mean, that's not the way it should be. The way it should be, they should have it tested and ready to go and have some numbers. And I think that's I'm hoping that ZWO is going to come out with some really hard specs on it.
I hope so as well. I for sure. Someone mentioned the 533 mm.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were asking.
It's kind of just like Pegasus coming out with their harmonic drive too.
They are. I heard they're coming out with theirs as well.
Yep.
So it should be interesting to see what the features benefits. I mean, this is what you want to do is, once again, competition really is beneficial for us in our hobby because
lowers the price.
It lowers the price. We look at the features benefits and we say, okay, looking at what we've got here, what is it that we've got? So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And
you have to compare apples to oranges when it comes to these drives because the drives, harmonic drives that don't have the encoders in them are going to be a lot cheaper than the ones that do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And as you said too, Scott, Rainbow and Hoban right now, they've been in it now. So they've got the years in front of them, whereas these are the new players coming on the block. So, as I said, they're kind of looking at what they've done, Hoban and Rainbow. But you're right. I mean, bar none, Rainbow is the standard. Hoban is just slightly below them because of the fact that they don't have a brake, which I wish they did. But it's not to say that ZWO or Pegasus, it'd be interesting to see what they come up with.
Yes.
Well, what I like about the fact that with these other amounts, not necessarily at the same level as the Rainbow or the Hoban, is that it opens the door for people that are interested in harmonic drive. Yep. Not everybody has $7,000 or $8,000 to spend on a mount.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can get in and under for what $2,000, $2,500 with a tripod, I mean that's not such a big ask.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
I agree. And so yeah, like I said, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm looking forward, Dan, if you do get a hold of one, I'll be really looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
I know I'm going to get a hold of one. I'm definitely going to do a rundown on it. I'm just hoping that it doesn't turn out to be the rundown that I had with the Sharp Star one.
Exactly.
Because that I didn't even get a chance to do it. Let me I mean, again, I hate bashing. I don't like to bash. Everyone does such a good job getting equipment out there. But let me tell you that Sharp Star mount is so not user friendly, even to somebody that knows mounts, and I consider myself to know mounts. I deal with them all the time, and different types, different styles. And let me tell you, I had some real big problems with the software, real big problems with how to set it up. It just was not user friendly at all. And that's why somebody actually, I forget who it was. Somebody was on the Explore Scientific interview this afternoon, and somebody said, "Ask Dan about Allen keys." And and I'm like, dude, don't ask me about Allen keys. I'm not going to do this on the show. But that was the thing. You got to carry around all these Allen keys to do this mount, and it's just like, or have like little fingers that are shaped like vice grips, and to get at these little knobs, and it's just not very user friendly.
And you know what you said, Dan? It's kind of like these people, the engineers that make cars. Until they have to fix it, they shouldn't be allowed to design it because I'll tell you got a point. Is that at night you got big fingers, it's dark, and you're trying to get in there, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, I got to get in there, and I got to have microsurgery to be able to do what I need."
12 degrees out.
Yeah.
My husband's a mechanic. I hear that every week. These engineers, they should have to work on their own, these cars that they design before they can be put into production. See, I hear it all the time.
For me, this is what I say is that if at night I'm going to be outside, like Dan says, it's cold, I want stuff that I can grab and I can turn and I know exactly where it's at. So I do like the idea of these small little harmonic drive mounts, but I don't want the knobs to be so fucking small. Excuse me, small.
Wow. Well, you just had a first. That is a AstroWorld exclusive. Everyone go back to 2 hours, 1 minute, and 3 seconds on the show, and you will see something you will never see probably ever again.
Incoming!
Where's the soap?
Oh, that's too funny.
But,
Oh, my God.
and somebody was talking about, most of these harmonic mounts are not friendly, but I got to tell you, from the rundown, at least on the AM5, and I'm sure Scott could speak to on the Rainbow. Again, we're talking the difference between a $8,000 mount and a $2,000 mount, so it better be better. But from what I've seen, from my experience with the Sharpstar Mark III, and from what I've seen with the AM5, just the knobs themselves on the AM5 and the altitude knobs on the AM5 already seems more user-friendly than the Sharpstar.
Yeah.
Already seems that way.
Yeah.
So
time will tell when we finally everyone can get their hands on it.
I may take it and do one of these and just throw it in the air and that's it. But I will definitely give it a shot. I think I think that it's on the right track from the visuals that I've seen of it, and only time will tell. Maybe after I'm done with it, I'll send it to you, Eric, because I know you'll want to play with it.
Just as long as it doesn't end up in the closet of death, Dan.
No, no matter what, it's got to go back to the store eventually. So that one's got to go back.
Yeah, it's got to go back. Yeah.
Well,
but
no, I know that, Dan. I know you don't like necessarily, giving negative reviews on things, but you know what? In my opinion, that we're not doing anybody any favors.
No, I agree.
Manufacturer any favors by sugarcoating a piece of crap.
Oh,
yeah. Be honest about it. I mean,
I am. Trust me. But I everyone's seen or I had to take it off, but because it was really bad. But my Stellarmate review, I had to take that offline because it was so scathing that I actually it was scathing. It was bad. I literally took the thing and literally threw it across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, you know what I would do with this thing? I would, whoop, and I threw it because I spent hours trying to get this thing hooked up, and it was so bad. It was
and I'm sorry when you're in a in a hobby where your time is precious. Our imaging time is gold to us, and it takes you hours. I'm sorry, because at least here in these Illinois with this Illinois weather, it could be clear skies one day and it could be just crap for the next 2 weeks. And I would be livid if I only had that one day to be outside to do what I want, to do what I love, and then boom, 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks of nothing.
Yeah, and not for nothing. And listen, this is not learning curve stuff. You're always gonna have to. Whenever you're learning something new, you have to learn it. You have. This isn't what I was talking about with that review. This is basic stuff that should be easy, but because of the way it was set up, welcome to the UAE, Eric. but it was the basic stuff that stuck me. Like why is west longitude positive? Why is that? Why should I even look at that? I shouldn't even have to look at that. Why is Eastern Standard Time +5? Everywhere else it's negative. So these are the little things that I say, why is this? And you spend 45 minutes to an hour wondering why your telescope's pointing to China. It's the little things.
If you're a new person starting out with that, and that you end up with something like that, that's going to be a hobby killer. If you who have been doing this for years is struggling with this, and you happen to be, the person that's going, hey, that's a pretty sexy looking mount there. I think I'm going to go ahead and get that, and and you get it home and you can't use it. Are you going to want to throw more money at it, or are you going to say, you know what? done. You know, like this is not for me. It's, you know, it's not a problem. You're not thinking it's a problem with it. Not a problem, but just it's an equipment thing. You're thinking it's a, you know what, I'm over my head. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just get out of this before I get any deeper in debt on this. So
Yeah.
you gotta be
What were
honest.
you gonna say, Pete?
It's interesting is that being in this hobby as long as I've been in it, you know the strengths and weaknesses of all the manufacturers. There, believe me, there's weaknesses that a lot of them have, and there's strengths. And so you look at your hard-earned dollars, and when you get asked, saying, Pete, what would you put together as a project? And they say, well, this is what I'd like to do. And I'm going to say, well, can I be brutally honest with you here? If it was up to me, this is what you do. Because once again, we're kind of, they're trusting us to be that trust relationship. So they're going to come to us and they're going to say, like you, Scott, you know, you put your trust in me to put that project together for you. And so when we discussed it, we must have had how many revisions? We went back and forth probably several times, but we finally did come up with a project that was suitable to you, and you love it. And so, Dan, you're probably in the same boat, and I know you will be doing that with our mutual friend. So it's going to be kind of what we do here is they trust our judgment, and this is the reason why we're on this show, is to be able to give honest and sound advice to people that are getting into the hobby.
And
you want to know the fruit of what he just said? The low-hanging fruit that of why what Pete said is absolutely true. That scope, I can literally take everything, including the 2 boxes that I've got. I've got a custom-made box for the mount, and I've got another Pelican case that has all my stuff in it. That mount, that tripod, the Losmondi wheelie bar, not the Losmondi, the wheelie bar, everything. I can fit it all into the Jeep. And I can literally, and I timed myself. I know you don't believe me, Dan, but I did.
I don't believe you. I want a clock, and I want the video camera rolling, and I don't want anyone to buy.
And the next time I go out into the field, I'm going to have my wife video it to prove it.
You know what? It's going to be like a Benny Hill video.
No, I'm not kidding you. I got that whole setup ready to image in 20 minutes out of the car. No joke. A 14-inch Celestron. 20 minutes.
I just want you to do it do it by the lanai. I want a nice picture of everything when you fail miserably at this.
Yeah, with my luck, the stupid thing and fall in the pool.
Yeah, I can't get up, and I've got everything sitting under a telegizmo, and just lift it on, and then put my computer and stuff, and I can't be up and ready in 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said. Hey, listen, you spend X amount of money on. Scott spent a lot of money on his rig, and it better go up in 20 minutes. I got to be honest with you. It better be ready to go. I mean, I got my pier outside, and I'm up. I'm all like pulling stuff out in 15 minutes. I'm up ready to go. All I got to do is pull a line.
10, 15 minutes. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, I can do it. And it's for me, it's all user error. I mean, I'm still in that spot. It's always something stupid. Like I was messing around the other day and I couldn't figure out why my EQ mod would not. I'm like, why is it not hooking up? Why is it not hooking up? Wait, hold on. Let me just go out and turn my mount on. 20 minutes of my life gone. I'll never get it back.
I had the brain fart dealing with the doctor scope the other night. Oh man, I did it. I do it every once in a while. I do it. I do something so stupid, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at the scope, and I haven't used eyepieces in years, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I haven't used an eye. So I grabbed my eyepiece case, and I got nice eyepieces. I got, televiews and that kind of stuff. So I sit there and I'm doing it. And, I forgot I need a diagonal and all this kind of stuff. And I need to put all this stuff together. So I'm getting all ready and I'm putting everything together. I'm looking in there and I'm like, oh man, it's dark. All right. So I don't see any stuff. So I'm moving the scope. I said, maybe that the red dot finder isn't aligned right. So I go and check the red dot finder and it looks like it's okay and whatever. Sure enough, after 25 minutes, I forgot to take the lens cap off, and and that's what it was. I swear to God, I did it. I did. It happens.
I feel better now.
No, it happens. It happens. It does. And again, and this is coming from somebody. I mean, I haven't done visual of any sort in 5 years. Easy. you know, and so I'm sitting there trying to fix a visual scope, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's I thought, oh man, this collimation's really off. I was like, oh my god, it's really off. I don't even see a star, man. I'm on Procyon. I don't even see that sucker. I'm like, oh man, this is gone. You know, but
It's funny. We've all done that. And I know I've
Yeah.
shared this story with all
Yeah,
you
we've
guys
all
about that
done
call
it.
I got several years ago from a guy. I'm working at OPT back in 2016, and I get this call from a guy on the phone. He's just frustrated. He goes, I need help. I just can't balance my scope. And I go, well, what do you mean? And I mean, I'm trying to talk to him. And finally, I just go, sir, send me a photograph so I can see what it looks like. So I give him my email address and I look at his photograph. So what he's got a Lost Mandy G11 GT. And where you actually put the polar scope, the very front of it, there's a hole. And that's exactly where you can see through. Well, he's got the counterweight shaft threaded into the front.
you told me about that.
Phenomenal story.
And I'm going, how the hell did you get the counterweight shaft threaded on there? I mean, I wish I had the photograph because
That's classic.
That's the best. That
I
one.
remember
That's
that story.
everybody else just put the
Yeah.
freaking stories away because that wins.
Dude, that is hilarious. You told me that story, I was crying.
it's unbelievable. Oh man, I've got so many stories like that of just people just frustrated, and you kind of say, just show me the photograph. And then when you show the photograph, you go, you can't believe it. People doing this.
Oh,
But as like Bloodstone was saying, I have no idea how I was able to thread it because once again, it's a completely different thread than what the thread is on the counterweight shaft. So he
You
must
got
have
it in there.
Got it in there.
I'm surprised he got it out.
Yeah, on top of it, he had an 11-pound counterweight on there. He had the Lost
my
Man
God.
11-pound counterweight.
Did he damage the mount?
Oh, I'm sure he had to
He
because
had to.
he couldn't understand why he couldn't get balance.
No kidding. He's got like this going. Oh, that's hilarious, man. That is
It's
too much.
priceless.
I got a video that I've been working on for the past couple of years, and it's gonna go to it's all the stupid mistakes that we do, and I videotape the stupid mistakes like the lens cap and everything, and in the background I got the "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears. So I got that. It's gonna be like a 1-minute short on YouTube. Hopefully, I don't get a copyright infringement.
But I'd say we all still do it though, don't we? We all still make those mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those mistakes that you make. That stuff is gold. That stuff is gold.
Man.
Because nobody cares about the successes. It's like, you know, but you start talking about your mistakes and everybody jumps on board. They're all
Oh yeah.
you know,
The best of us all make mistakes.
What would be a good camera
I just saw
for
that,
EAA? I use a 533. I use a 294. I think those are all really good for EAA.
You can use anything, but you don't
You can
even
use almost anything. Yeah.
you don't even necessarily need a cool camera for EAA.
Because these are all fast live stacks.
Yeah,
You know, these are short exposures. So
you could use anything. You could use a 290 uncooled. I mean, it's a small chip, but I mean, you could use anything for EAA. But you know what? If you have a decent live stacking program, or so if you're using something like SharpCap or APT, APT does live stack, right?
I don't know if APT does. The ASIR does, but I don't know.
Yes, I does.
There's a
Dropcap
live
does.
stack function in APT, but I was playing around with it
Okay.
the other night, and I don't think it's actually doing it. I
Okay.
mean, so I know you were on with a gentleman with APT not too long ago, and I wish I had actually thought to ask him about that.
Yeah.
Because it's in there. When you pull up the settings, there is a setting for for a live stack.
Okay.
But I have not been able to actually enable it yet. So
Okay.
I think SharpStar is your best bet.
SharpCap.
SharpCap.
What did I say? SharpStar?
SharpStar.
SharpCap.
Yeah, SharpCap. What you could do is with that, you could have a point to a folder, and you could do the live stack that way, and then you could sit there and you could add calibration frames to the live stack, which is actually kind of could add a dark frame, you could add a flat frame.
Yep.
You could do all that kind of stuff and just point it to that, and the pictures look okay. They look pretty good.
They look pretty good.
Especially when you're doing like a one-shot color thing, and you don't have to worry about any of the. You know, if you're doing EAA, you're not doing mono anyway. So
No,
I mean,
you're doing OSC.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing. If you're doing mono, well, knock yourself out. But you really, if you're doing EAA, you want to get that wow factor. You want to go one-shot color.
Yeah. In ASI Studio, I haven't used it in a long time because I have the ASI Air Pro. But I have heard that it does. It does live stack as well.
Yep.
Well, and that's where the Rasa and the Hyperstar really shine.
Yeah, that's where they shine.
Yeah,
that's where they shine.
Just meant
Absolutely.
And
That's
we were also talking about the Unistellar and the other one,
the Stellina.
The Stellina.
Yeah.
We were talking about that as well.
They do EAA. Yeah, those are basically EAA. But to your point, Scott, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you took it. What you doing? 30-second exposures?
Yeah.
You know. You
And,
do 20 of those, it's 10 minutes to get 30 exposures?
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Dave's right. Nina does it now with it's got a Pix Insight plugin to do it. So
Okay. Yeah. But no, as long as you have a good one-shot color camera, then you're fine. EAA is going to be a lot of fun with any camera. Yeah.
And that will be a really big hit with kids. You know, that's
what I was doing with my son last year. You know, last year with the Rasa, we had a blast.
Yeah.
You know, just doing it with the Rasa, I think we hit like 24 targets.
Yeah.
In one night with the Rasa.
Yeah.
With EAA, and it was an absolute. And I just let him go to town. You know, he was putting things up in Sky Safari. Or you know, he's saying, "Yeah, can we go here? Can we go here? And I said, "Yeah, just here." And I told him, and I showed him how to use it. He went to it, and I said, "All right, start doing it." Within 5 minutes of a target, we're getting really nice data, getting live back, and he was having some fun. The kid was.
Yeah, I mean that for you, Jesse, would be awesome. You know, with your kids, with your students.
Yeah. I'm over here looking this up. I have not heard of this. So like I'm over here, you know, I'm spending like half of the show sometimes going, I have no idea what these guys are saying. Let me Google this real quick.
Yeah, electronic assisted astronomy, and it is so much fun.
Yeah.
That would be perfect. That would be absolutely perfect. I mean, it's, you know, as soon as, you know, and I've been saying this, you know, now I've been teaching at the high school. This is my 3rd year, and you know, I didn't quite get through my first. You know, I've been at the middle school before, you know, so I just moved from one side of the building to the other. But with the high school kids, I mean, they definitely, you know, they need this, you know. And I want to take it to them because I can't get the kids, you know, trying to get them to stay after school. I mean, there's the issues of transportation and such. So I want to be able to take something to them. So that's what I'm thinking with the AM5. And then I'm looking at this. I'm like, they would love this. I mean, is this something that they could, you know, I'm not gonna be able to read the whole thing, but I swear when I was in NEEF, I had seen something that you could hook up to some sort of camera that the Revolution
Imager.
Because these kids would love that. Oh my gosh! I mean, like the visual astronomy would be great, but these kids, I mean,
they want to see. They want instant gratification. And sometimes, if you're doing visual, you've really got to take the time to let your eyes relax, so you can actually see that image.
Not to mention the adaptation to the dark. I mean, God forbid somebody, you know,
and all that stuff.
You know,
and the fact of the matter is that, you know, no matter how much you let your eyes relax, no matter how dark it is, there are some targets up there that you're never going to visualize.
You're
never going to see them. You need EAA to be able to see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have I think it's, gosh, I always forget my numbers. But the solar, I think it's the 50 millimeter one.
Yeah,
that's for the kids, and like, you know, I just set it up on little cheapy tripod and take it outside with them because I'm not, you know, it's something that we're just going to run outside during the day. My first unit that we teach is, you know, just a history of the universe. We talk the life cycle of stars, and it's like we get a nice clear day. It's like, all right, guys, we going out with it. And the kids, they're like, if I put my phone in here, can I take a picture of it? And they were loving it. They were loving it. I mean, they were awful. terrible pictures.
Dan,
These kids
tell
were
her
so
about that. Tell her about that thing that for the phone. See, I don't have one of these things. He's used it before. I don't have one. It hooks on your phone. Hooks on. And
Yeah, the Next YZ.
What is
The
it?
XYZ.
The Next YZ.
Yeah, it's Electron
That's
XYZ.
what you need, Jesse.
XYZ. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Electron
something like that would be
XYZ.
amazing.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
said, they weren't
basically
even,
a
they were just
smartphone
taking
holder.
it and putting it up to the eyepiece. And I mean, it looked like this fuzzy old 7-Up spot. I mean, it really did. But the kids were like, oh, wow, that's cool. And they just thought it was the neatest thing. And, I before I know it, a few of the teacher friends that I have, because we're not allowed to be with the kids on social media, which is good. But other teachers that I know, have family and whatnot, and they were saying, oh yeah, there's these little orange spots all over Facebook, not Facebook, they're teenagers, all over Snapchat, Instagram, and whatnot, these terrible little orange spots, but the kids were loving it. I'm like, okay, so I've been trying to figure out what I can do to get, now that COVID's kind of, starting to die down.
It's moving, we're getting past it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So it's been the past 2 years kind of wanting and not really sure what to do and what step to make. And in my mind, I've got an idea. I'm like, okay, I want to be able to take it to the kids and just plunk it down in their development, in their apartment complex, in their, take it to them, because they're not going to be able to come to me as easily as I can go to them. And something like this would be amazing. So
I mean, wait until you can actually point something right at, point it at Andromeda, point it at the horse head, point it at the Running Man, and then take a picture of that. Yeah. And they're like, we're looking at that live right now. That will blow their minds.
They've been blown away. I mean, it's, a lot. It's just when we do this first unit, they're like blown away that there's even other galaxies out there. They're like, wait, that's a whole other galaxy out there. Yeah. Like our galaxy and what? So where are the stars in it? I'm like, all those little fuzzy dots, and they're like, what? And it's just, it's that stuff that us teachers just live for, that like moment. Yeah. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you start teaching them about the universe and about the vastness of it, and the inner workings and the mechanics of it, and not. I promoted this before, but there's a great program that you can get on YouTube for free. It's called The Privileged Planet, and it talks about the vastness of our universe and how amazingly where we are positioned in our solar system, our solar system is positioned in our galaxy is literally optimized for visualization, for exploring the universe. That where we are is miraculous, and the whole program, it goes into all of that and it talks about it. And I mean, most people have no clue. They have no clue how amazing our universe is.
And what's it called again?
Called The Privileged Planet.
Privileged Planet. It
was based on a book by Guillermo Gonzalez and Jay Richards. Gonzalez was an astrobiologist. He specialized in the science of looking for favorable conditions for life on other planets. Not necessarily conscious observers, but just, life. And the factors that come into play and all this. And it's just a really fascinating video. It's only about an hour long, but boy, I'll tell you, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
I've got to pull it up.
Really
I've got all these tabs that I'm going to have. I've got a lot of homework, I guess, to make.
At least you got the weekend to work with it. So
I do, yes.
You'll like the Privileged Planet.
All right, cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. I've never seen it. So
I've never heard about it.
The last thing I saw on let's see, on some sort of video is probably Zeitgeist. Yeah, exactly. so what time we go? It's 10:15 already.
Yeah, we've run about 2.5 hours. So
yeah,
a lot of stuff we've talked about.
Absolutely. So we got computers, we got mounts, we got spending a lot of money. We had hockey and tripods and
hockey.
School and
a little bit of EAA.
Yeah. Let's
in the universe.
Let's go around and do final thoughts, I guess. Oh wait a minute. Hold on a second.
We got to do the picture of the day.
We got to do the picture of the week.
Yeah, because we only got 2 votes, and that's me and Eric.
Hey, I did vote on Wednesday.
Did vote. You did vote. You did vote.
And I actually was the same one as you guys. So
okay, good. So that's 3.
Yep.
Guilty.
Scott abstains.
I didn't even look at it.
Oh
Scott
no,
abstains.
Scott.
But see, it's only
Sorry.
you know what? You know what? It does. I guess because we have 3 votes now to 2. I don't know if it's okay, but I would like. Hey, Pete, have you had a chance to see them?
Well, if did I was it was a toss up between the Merlot 15, right, and then the Rosette.
No.
I think I chose the
No,
Rosette.
that was
That was
last
last
week.
week.
That was
Oh,
last
I
week.
haven't seen the new ones then. No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
All right, all
Me
right. So,
neither.
all right. So I'll
So
throw
you
them
know
up.
what? It's just between you guys then. We'll
But
Scott
do
and
you
I'll
want to do, Dan? Do you want to do a quick recap of what they are?
Sure. Yeah. Why don't we do that? And let's see. Where's my? I got too many
And
tabs.
don't tell us which ones you chose, Dan. I know
Okay.
you guys have talked
Yeah.
about it, but don't when you put the pictures up, don't tell Peter me which ones.
No problem. Give me a second. I'll get. Let's see. The
Not that
drive up.
we're trying to people please or kiss your butt or anything.
Whatever, man. Whatever, man. What do we got? Where's the AstroWorld and AstroPod submissions? Okay, so I didn't download these all, so you're gonna have to excuse. I wasn't expecting to show it on, but then so let's. You have to excuse the resolution probably on it, even though the pictures do look pretty good. So let's see. Let me get back to here and share screen. And screen 2 and share. All right. So here's the first one. This is by Christopher Satens. This is a different take on the Rosette. This is done with, if I remember right, the IDAS. Let's see. IDAS MBZ. Okay. Processed in all open source. Details on AstroBin. So there's an Astro. I could go on the AstroBin site.
Yeah. There you
go. Copy and paste. All right. So here we go. Here's the. And we'll make this a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is the Rosette Nebula.
Nice detail.
Yeah, I love the magenta.
Yeah.
And nice detail. That is 6 hours of data with the QHYCC. No, I'm sorry, my bad. That was the 294 MC with a 130 stellar view.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Okay, so that's that one. And then we got the next one is the Medusa Nebula.
Medusa.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. You don't see it. You don't literally see many planetary nebula.
Nope. Nope. And if I could read this right, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to get a little closer. Let's see. So this is a 130 ED scope with a QHY 283 with an NB7, 7.8 hours.
This is also with the NBZ.
Yep, another NBZ. I think you, Eric, were the biggest proponent of the NBZ, and I think everyone's starting to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great filter.
Oh, yeah.
It is a great filter.
Great filter. 10 minutes at 14 exposures at 10 and 66 at 5.
That's
so yeah, 7.8. Wow.
So yeah, almost 8 hours.
Almost 8 hours. Very nicely done. Very good.
And
another Rosette.
Another Rosette. Chris decided to call this not the Rosette. He calls it the Flaming Skull. He's renamed it.
Now I've heard it called that before. I have heard that called that before.
Have you?
I have, and it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I still don't see it, but okay.
But I like the detail. I like the color. I love the nebulosity there.
Yeah.
To the left of Merlot.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go over to the, left, right over here, right there, right where you got it at, that dead center, right there. That is really great detail, in my opinion. That's really, really nice.
I just always love the Bach globules up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these little guys.
Yeah, these little guys. Yeah, for sure.
all that. I love the little. It's like somebody spattered black paint and just like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and all that. I
Bob
love
Ross,
that.
he's making a little happy thing.
Oh, we're just gonna put a little happy buck globule here.
There you go.
You know what this one reminds me of, Dan? The Doomsday Machine from Star Trek.
It totally does.
Yep.
It totally does. We got M45.
Cities.
This one,
Nice.
in my opinion, needs a little bit of work. I'm not sure how the flats turned out, but we've got some dust or something there to the right there. I'm not sure.
It's you could see it more in the picture. You could see it down here and in the corner down here, and I think there might be some nebula, but I mean,
you see now cropped in, it's better. This one needs to be
there looks great. Yeah, it does
This
need
one
some work.
definitely
It
needs to
does
be
need some
cropped.
work, but
Yeah, there's definitely
Nice round
something going
stars.
on there. Down in the lower left-hand corner, there's definitely something going on there.
yeah.
all right.
You got some purple. You got some. It looks like almost purple hazing or something. I'm not sure.
Love the Pleiades.
Well, let's.
But I love it. It's absolutely one of my favorite
Yeah, no doubt.
DSOs for sure.
All right, and that was. This says the Cave Nebula.
Oh, maybe that's another one that is coming.
I gotta have to download it. It's a TIFF.
Oh, okay.
TIFF file.
So it's huge.
Yeah.
It's Mark Ellis.
Okay, so that's Mark. Okay, so we'll have to open that up in PI. Yeah. All right.
Ooh, that's pretty.
That's kind of pretty.
It is kind of pretty.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice dark, dark lanes, some nice dust there.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? I've always had a little bit of trouble with the Cave Nebula, trying to see why do they call it the cave?
Yep. And let's see, what's the next one? Where's the? I got too many tabs. Is that another one?
Yep.
Oh, the monkey head.
Monkey head. Yeah.
I think I have it saved already. I have it saved twice. That's okay. I download it again. Monkey head.
Okay.
I think we saw this one last
We
week.
did see this
week.
Yeah. Because if you can zoom in on a little bit over to the lower, there is a bit of elongation. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, we spoke to this gentleman.
Yeah.
He said he fixed all this. So that's a monkey head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And where's the next one? And 2024.
Yeah, NGC 2024. All right, the flame. Yep. Overall, On Attack doesn't look half bad.
Come on.
There is some halo, but it doesn't look half bad.
No, it's tamed pretty well.
Yeah.
It's a tough one to do.
That is a tough one. And then we got, what's next? We got another rosette, George Lutch.
Oh, wow.
Wow, look at that blue. Yeah.
Man, look at those blue little globules right in the center.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
And last one, the seagull.
The seagull.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
I like it.
They're making this
Ooh.
hard. They're
They
making
are
it
really
hard.
making it hard. These are
There's some
really.
really nice images.
Yeah, they're all good. They're all good. So that's those are them. That's the last one.
Okay.
I don't know about you, Pete, but I really like that seagull.
Okay, so we got one. Well,
One for the
Stay
seagull.
with my original vote. I'm going to stay with
Okay.
my original one.
I'm staying with my original one too.
Same here. This was a tough one. This was kind of a tough one for me. Because
I know you were torn. I
I
know.
was torn between a couple of them, but yeah, I'll stick with my original with my final vote.
All right.
Yeah, I'm digging that seagull. I just like the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So let's see. That's so Pete, are you there? Pete, you sleeping?
Let's go
Is he still
back.
there?
Is he still there?
I don't know. Where's Pete? There he is. He's still there.
You on mute or something?
He was there. Hold on.
I'm still here.
Oh, there
I
you
can
go.
see
I don't know.
it.
Yeah, I got you. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
But you're back.
No, I was going to say, man, I tell you, it's a toss up between the seagull and that second rosette. Can I
Yeah,
see
that's
the
what-
rosette again?
Yeah. That was exactly my thought, Peter.
This one?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I like that, and I like the seagull.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what?
that's tough.
I'm gonna go with the seagull.
Of course
Yeah,
you are.
I think I like the seagull too. I love this rosette, but the seagull,
Yeah.
that seagull is just really amazing.
Yeah,
Well, so we got 3 for the rosette and 2 for the seagull.
And honestly, I was torn between these two. I
So
was torn between the seagull and the rosette.
Yeah.
But just for me, the nebulosity, they're off to the
Yep.
left
yep,
Yeah.
of Merlot 15, all of that in those dust lanes and those little globs, the way that was captured, that's what really nailed it for me.
Well, just Merlot 50 is the heart. So
Sorry, Merlot 15 is
No.
hard. Yeah. No, but yeah, with the open cluster here.
yeah, no, yeah, I
And
got you. And you know what I
Yeah.
love about this too, besides those globules? You know what knocked it in for me was
Mm,
this right here.
yeah. You like that area to the left? Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
This little stream right here,
yeah.
and this little dust lane right here.
Yeah.
you know that little stream kind of reminds me of like a prominence coming off of the sun.
It does. It
I
does.
always-
Yeah.
Whenever I see that, it reminds me of that. But no, I
Yeah.
agree. with you. That's a great image. No question about it. It's spectacular.
Well, so congratulations to Chris for PO Astro Pound number 2.
Congrats, Chris.
So Chris, nice job with that image. Awesome job. So that will be on the splash screen for the music coming up on Wednesday and Friday. So nice job with that. And now you get a chance to become Picture of the Month and win a fabulous prize from the Closet of Death.
Thanks to everybody for their submissions. Really.
Yeah, thanks to everybody, man. A great job to all.
Absolutely great images, everybody. Very, very good images.
Let me get this out of here. There we go.
Absolutely.
Whew.
Absolutely. Been a long show, guys.
Yeah, we're at 10:30, man. So let's round up. We got Chris. Congratulations. Final thoughts, everybody. Jesse, knock us out.
Great show, guys. That was fun. Had a great time. Keep on with the images. Make us work hard here, and to decide, because that was really tough to make the decision between some of these pictures. I love seeing them. Great job on them, guys. Had a great time. It's fantastic. Great show tonight, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining in on it.
Scotty.
Yep. Keep on, imagining. Keep on learning everything you can about our universe, because the more you learn, the more you'll get hooked. And one other thing, FedEx doesn't suck as much this week.
They did something right this week.
I swear Scott plans his last final thoughts. He thinks about it and he writes it. It's like scripted.
I need to remember this because it catches me off guard every time. It's like, oh,
Yep.
wait, hold on. Oh, no,
Yeah.
I got to say things.
I get scared when Scott speaks at the end sometimes. I get a little nervous, but the hairs go on the back of my neck. It's like they crawl up.
As you should be.
It's like the old Yoda. You will
Oh,
be. You will
yeah.
be.
Yes.
Eric?
No, again, I'll echo, Jesse and Scott, this was a great show. A lot of good content, a lot of good subjects we talked about. So again, with the images, congratulations to Chris. Thank you guys all for your images. Really appreciate it. Keep them coming again. Don't forget, what is it? Deadline is it Monday? Is it Monday or Tuesday?
I forgot
For
what we
the
said.
next one.
What did we say?
I thought you
don't
said
remember.
Monday.
I think Monday. Was it Monday?
Monday, 5 p.m. So we
5
could have the announce the winner. We're going to be announcing the winners on Wednesday show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna get steady. We're gonna get better with this.
So Monday, 5 p.m. is the deadline. I will move all of the submissions into the prior week's folder, and that'll be cleared up for this week. So feel free to do, throw in your next submissions in there. Everybody, and just remember, if you won, you can have as many pictures of the week as you want, but you can only have one picture of the month. Okay, so you may get more than one picture of the week, but only one picture of the month. So if you win picture of the month, then let's leave it up to more of the membership. So it's not, when we make that calendar, we have a plethora of people that have contributed to it.
For sure. But no, besides that, for my closing thoughts, no, it was just a good show, and hope somebody and I hope people got a lot out of it. So.
Mr. Pete?
Well, this is just a shout out to all of our membership viewers. I tell you what, I hope you guys enjoy the show as much as we do, because I tell you what, this is a blast to kill as much as we do. We all enjoy it. I mean, look at us here. We're all laughing. 3 hours later, we're all enjoying it. And as I said, if you guys can just spread the gospel and just pass the word around, believe me, we're all indebted to all of you. And so it's all up to you guys, because you guys make it all worthwhile for us.
Yeah, and everybody, just please, the support is just awesome. The 30, 40 of you that show up every single show, it's an awesome feeling to have this kind of support. So thank you so much for everybody that comes in the chat. Thank you for everybody that supports us in a number of aspects. There are people that aren't in the chat that support us in the background too. We can't forget them, all of our sponsors and all that. So, and don't forget, starting the 16th, it's giveaway time. So, every single show, we're going to be giving away something. So make yourself eligible by going on the website and signing up and giving me your email so I can throw it in there. If you don't want to go to the website, that's fine. Email me direct at dan@astroworldweb.com. And I'll put your email into the wheel of names. So Sean said, great show. I was listening and processing at the same time.
Right on.
Thank you, Sean. Sean's the man. If you want to learn anything about Pix Insight, go to Sean's website. Go to visibledark.ca. Go check that stuff out, because let me tell you something. Half the stuff I learned from him. So
Sean's the man.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check that stuff out. Check it out. Visible Dark on YouTube, and visibledark.ca is his website. Go check it out. He's got a really cool Pix Insight video for beginners. Check it out. I think it's like $20 or $25.
I think it's 25.
Yeah, so it's worth every single penny. Trust me. Go get it. But that's all I have to say. Everybody, thank you so much. Jesse, Scott, Eric, Pete, you guys are great. Thank you for being on the show every week with me. I could not do this by myself. And I got to not only thank you to everybody that watching, can't do it without you guys, man. I really can't. So thank you so much. And that being said, everybody, have a good night. Thank you. And as always, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you Wednesday night with our next our Roland Archer. We'll see Roland Archer on the 9th.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Absolutely. Take care. Be
Good
safe.
night, everybody.
Bye
Bye for
bye.
now.
And next, and we are out.